Hello there. How's it going? Tonight we're talking about AI slop and Shadiversity. And I really don't like this particular image. This is from Shadiversity's video, A Love Letter to AI Art. You do not need to be afraid. This is from over a year ago. And I think we talked about one of these videos, one of Shad's AI videos. I can't remember which one it was. But that's not the video we're actually going to look at today. We're actually looking at this video, which is AI Art is Theft, a response to Shadiversity by Andy R. Animations. I'm going to go ahead and like the video. And he's going to be talking about how AI is theft and Shadiversity is wrong. And I'm sure that I'm going to get a lot of people very angry at me because, like most things, I have a nuanced opinion on this, where I don't hate AI art. I don't believe it's art at all. I think that there has to be a human element for it to be art. In the same way that a sunrise can be beautiful, AI art can be beautiful, but I don't think it's art. But people are very, like most things, are very divisive on this. They either they love it or they hate it. So every time you talk about it, you get a lot of people that get very upset, which I assume is going to be the process tonight. If you're upset, let me know. But we're going to be talking about Shad. We're going to be laughing at Shad. We're going to be laughing at this guy, and there's going to be a certain middle ground here. So let's take a look from it. We'll watch this on 1.25 speed though, because it is pretty long. It's like 1 hour and 36 minutes long. So let's begin. We're not muted. I don't believe you.
These images were generated by AI. The improvements that have been made recently around AI art generators have turned its images from janky and unrecognizable to detailed enough to fool even those familiar with AI. And
it's actually pretty impressive, this cat one, I have to say. This is the thing, is that eventually AI art will become the level where you can't tell the difference between what a human made and what AI made. And some people are like, no, I'll always be able to tell the difference. That's not true. At a certain point, you won't be able to tell. And at that point, the people that are doing AI art are just going to claim that they're doing it naturally and it's their own work, and you won't be able to know.
Art generators have turned its images from janky and unrecognizable to detailed enough to fool even those familiar with AI. Anyone can now generate images that look like an artist created them. This development has, of course, led people to making claims like these.
Yeah, so if you are an artist, this has been a really bad week for you. And I want to promise you that it's going to get worse. Okay?
It's true.
And I would focus on a career change. Yeah, exactly. And focus on, like, go be a plumber or something like that, right? And
I mean, this is true. Like, people get angry at Asmongold for this, and he has a lot of good takes and he has a lot of bad takes. But this is just true. This is a very bad time to be an artist. But not if you just enjoy the process for its own reasoning. I mean, for its own, the joy of the fulfillment you get from it.
Nobody wants to talk about that because all they want to do is look good on Twitter. And it's sad because I'm trying to help artists.
There's a very vocal...
There's also a very strange thing with AI, and that is that people love AI. I think like 99% of people love AI. They love it when it gives them directions. They love it when it gives them the answers to questions, to win arguments. They love it when it saves them money on shopping. They love it when it does basically anything. But the second it becomes about art, people throw a fit. And it's mostly people on Twitter. And maybe it's because they've got so much free time because they're unemployed that they like to talk about it. But let's take a look at this one. Let's see. Wow, that's a beautiful painting. AI. Oh, wait, it's AI. Never mind, it's ugly. People actually believe this, unironically. I've seen a lot of AI art that is better than real art. Like, this is, I guess this isn't here to like, oh, this is silly AI artist, but this is actually just true. People do believe this.
Group of AI art supporters who post almost exclusively bad faith arguments in favor of using...
That isn't a bad faith argument, though. AI slop, and they call me a sarcastic parrot.
AI art and downplaying its concerns. If you've been paying attention to AI development, I'm sure you've seen arguments like these.
All right. So we have this is the thing that I hate about AI art. And I hate to, like I said, I don't believe it's art, but just, you can't fight these phrases once they get a certain amount of power. I hate the piss filter. And I will actually sometimes go in and edit people's things so that they don't have this yellow piss filter. It's so easy. You just bring it into Photoshop, use the eyedropper tool, and make this border white, and it fixes everything. It looks so much better. I hate this piss filter so much. You have no idea. Looking at everything in piss.
Many of them insult artists, and many of them attempt to make fun of those that criticize AI art.
I say, what is this? AI slop? Are you blind? I'm literally painting it in front of you. AI bros are forcing me to harass you. What? I mean... People do accuse real artists and even myself of being AI all the time, unironically. So this is kind of very relatable to me.
This isn't a monolithic block of people all with one opinion. Instead, their arguments range anywhere.
Why are you okay with artists losing their jobs? I think this is like the crux of the actual thing, is that a lot of people are just really upset about AI art because they think they're going to lose some perceived benefit in the future. Because they spent like their entire life working on their art that just hasn't been bought yet. And they're like, just one more day. And I'll be a famous artist and people will love me. But I don't think so. Ultimately, like, it's kind of sad because it's a really like low IQ take, but it's true that people don't consume the process, they consume the product. So it doesn't matter how you produce it. If you spent years honing your skills and you make something that's imperceivably different from some AI slop that someone generated, like Shadiversity, it doesn't matter because people consume the product. And once it gets to the point that people can't tell, you're shit out of luck as an artist, unless you focus on actually marketing, because that's the only thing that really matters. And this is going to be a thing that will annoy people a lot, but art isn't as important as marketing. You have to be, you could be the best artist in the world and have terrible social skills and terrible marketing, and nobody will give a shit. And you could be a garbage artist with great marketing and make millions of dollars. I mean, that's why you always see like this trash art being bought by companies and used as corporate stuff and shit like that, because they just have good marketing.
Where from AI is just a tool, all the way up to artists will be crushed into a fine paste. There is no shortage of...
That's kind of if artists get crushed into a fine paste, then they can finally become a part of their art as well. That'd be good. That's a nice little roundabout thing. Now, here's a Shad M. Brooks tweet, and I remember this tweet, and I hate this tweet because Shad is so wrong about this. The Studio Ghibli art style is plain uninspired, and the actual reason people love it is because of the quality of the stories and the style that has been attached to, and the fluidity of the details of the animators it appears in, not the style itself. I get that there's an innocent charm to it. Show more than this small thing. And he says the AI version looks better. This just does not look better. I'm sorry. The simplicity is the beauty in the Ghibli stories, the Ghibli movies. Princess Mononoke, one of my favorite Studio Ghibli ones. But this picture that Chad posted, where he generated, what's her name? She's not actually called Princess Mononoke. Fuck. It's one of my favorite movies. I forgot the name. It's like not Sen. That's from Sen to Chihiro. What is it? Anyway, the left looks much better. This just looks more realistic, which is not the same as being better.
People posting bad takes about AI art, especially on Twitter for some reason. Shad M. Brooks, or Shadiversity, is one of those people. He's a YouTuber that's gained his audience from historical overviews of weapons over the years. Recently, he's been extremely vocal about his support of AI art and has made multiple videos heavily defending it, as well as constantly tweeting rage bait in favor of AI. These videos are filled with claims that I see a lot of the pro-AI art crowd make that are misguided, short-sighted, and sometimes even purposefully insulting. If you've ever tried to argue with an AI artist, you're very quickly going to find that one of their favorite positions to take is just accuse you of not knowing how AI works and then never really elaborating. So here's a very basic explanation as to how AI image generators work.
Okay, so this actually should be interesting because I don't really know. I kind of know in theory, but and I did see part of the video when I saw it at the beginning. I was like, oh, this actually look like a good stream topic. But this guy's got this. I think he does like backroom videos, which is kind of like creepypastas for the millennials or the Zoomers or whatever. You know, it's like there's a liminal space and it's all spooky and it's all dirty and it's like an endless hallway. So I think that's why he looks like he's recording on a VHS from the 80s. But it's just part of his style. But all right, let's learn how the AI actually works.
There are different techniques AI image generators can use to create an image. Diffusion is what models like Stable Diffusion and VEO3 use, so I'll show you how diffusion works. In order to create an AI image generator, you need to feed a neural network a lot of images. If you want to make a text-to-image generator, you have to feed it text-image pairs. These are images that come with a description of what the image shows. Datasets like Lion 5B are designed to be trained off of and have text-image pairs available for AI training. In order to train a model with these text-image pairs, they will first add noise to each of the images. This is done in separate steps, with step 1 having the least noise and subsequent steps having more noise. The neural network is fed a noised image as well as how much noise it has and the text description of the image. The neural network will then attempt to denoise the image. It does this by guessing what the noise that was added looks like, and you can later subtract that from the noisy image to denoise it. The program will compare the model's predicted noise to the actual added noise, and it will make corrections to the neural network to try to lower the errors. The text description of the image is also given to the neural network, which will let it learn the associations between the text descriptions and their images. Once the model has gone through enough of these training steps, the predicted noise that the model creates will closely match the random added noise from the images it's fed. Eventually, the model will be able to denoise completely noisy images given only a text prompt. Now that you have a model...
Is that actually how it works? Like, I'm gonna assume he's telling the truth here, but like, not as you shouldn't just like I always assume that is the case. Especially with these sort of videos. But if that's actually how it works, that's actually fascinating and very clever.
That can effectively denoise complete noise from just a text prompt, and after feeding it thousands of images, you'll then be able to run the whole process with text it has never seen before. You can give it a prompt with anything you want, a rotisserie chicken riding a roller coaster, and it will create a completely noisy image. Give the neural network the noisy image, and it will tell the neural network, this is an image of a rotisserie chicken riding a roller coaster, but it's 100% noisy. Denoise this image. And based on the training data, the network will look at the prompt and attempt to create an image that would have been given that description. You don't have to generate it.
This actually just makes me want a rotisserie chicken. They're very hard to get where I live, although you can get them at Costco and they're like 500 yen, which I think is like $3 or something. But I used to love some of my fondest memories. So here's the first segue. This is going to be an hour. We're only 3 minutes into this hour and 30-minute video. So we're going to be here for a while. But one of my fondest memories as a child growing up, we would just go to the supermarket, get some buns, get some rotisserie chicken, get some coleslaw, get some mayonnaise, get some sauce, and some slices of cheese. And we'd go down to the park and just make like sandwiches outside and just, eat them having a picnic. That taste is there's something so good about rotisserie chicken on like just fresh rolls with the bread and coleslaw out in the park. It's so good.
Images from just text either. Instead of feeding the neural network just a text prompt, you can give it an image as well. This gives you more control over what the AI generates than a text prompt, although one is still
It's like he gave it, it's like the prompt was give it a piss filter, yellow piss filter. Yeah, you hate to see it.
usually available. Here's the thing though, datasets like Lion 5B aren't compiled with people's permission. If you post your artwork to the internet, it will get trained off of and nobody will be compensated for it.
Suffer. I mean, that's true of anything. If you put anything on the internet, people are going to try and profit from it. They're going to try and benefit from it. They're going to consume it without compensating you. That's just, it's a part of life, and it's just how it is. It happens to literally everybody. You'll say a joke, someone will steal your joke. You put up a movie, you make a movie, someone will steal your movie. You write some art or some jokes or some stories, people are going to steal it. That's just the reality. Like, oh, my compensation. Like, I'm sorry. That's just sorry. It's the way it works. It's just the way it is.
The AI art crowd attempts to use a variety of excuses, from its fair use to the machine is just inspired like a human being, in order to justify these companies taking everyone else's artwort and profiting off of it for free.
I mean, it's not just companies that are profiting off it. It's like basically everybody. I mean, not everybody, but like a lot of the people that are engaged in any form of content creation are using this to steal things. It's very frustrating as well. Like, I don't like it. I don't like seeing the AI slop content on my real feed, but for some reason, I every so often just fall prey to it. And then I give them like 3 or 4 swipes or something, like going through, like you're stuck in bed on the reel, and it's all just the Indian videos where it's like the man picked up the phone, but then his face melted off. He ate the blue pill, and it's like, oh, it was the Matrix. Oh, wow. I caught me again. Anyway, I mean, it's just people are always going to expand into an empty space. It's like an almost a natural way of how these things develop.
Brings me to Shadiversity's AI videos. We're going to start with this one. I'm going to start this out by saying that
a love letter to AI art. You don't need to be afraid. I hate this image. I don't like this face, by the way. So sorry, Shad.
Technology that allows us to create better art is a good thing. I work in Blender as a 3D artist, and I'm always looking out for new tools to help me create better art. New tools let artists create better art. AI is completely different. Although to an
new tools allow... Is it different though? Like, is it fundamentally different? I mean, he makes the claim that it is, but like, is selecting a gradient filter in Photoshop, that's a tool that artists can use, is that fundamentally different from asking an AI to color in something? I'm not convinced. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But, you have to add a little bit more than that. You can't just say that.
Outside observer like Shad, it looks identical. The fundamental difference that AI art generators are relying on work made exclusively by other artists ends up posing significant issues for his arguments.
But they're amalgamations, though. And in many ways, that is the way that art is developed anyway, right? Like everybody, first you learn to imitate, then you innovate, and then you've created something original. Is that fundamentally different? Now, again, I don't think it's art. I think the art itself is actually the AI models, because those were created by humans. And the art that it spits out is essentially a byproduct. But some of those byproducts can be very entertaining and very interesting.
I also want to mention that I don't have an issue with people just simply playing around with AI image generation. I'm not going to crucify Grandma because she wanted to see what her dog looks like as a human being. It only really becomes an issue when someone uses it to replace an artist that it was trained from. Unfortunately, he sees no issue.
Again, this is kind of like tipping the hat to saying that the only time it becomes a problem is when it affects you personally and you lose a potential commission. And I mean, if your marketing is so bad or your art is so bad that you're being replaced by AI, then maybe you don't deserve to have that as a profession. I mean, you can always do it as a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. And the idea that AI is going to completely replace artists is just not true. Like, McDonald's does not replace Michelin restaurants. And in many ways, I feel like that AI is the McDonald's of art, or at least when you talk about the product side of it. Like I said, I don't think it's really art, but it's like the mass-produced, feeds 5 million a day sort of product that is just very effective and is very successful. And then if you want to get something good, something bespoke, something that's really what you're after, you go to a more specialized place. Is it different? Is it the same? I don't know. That's just my sort of opinion of it.
with companies doing exactly this. So Shad does know how to draw to some degree. The average person probably wouldn't be able to.
I will say that I hate Shad's drawings. There's something so uncanny about them. And there's actually a very funny part, I think that's around here, yeah, where it shows you some of Shad's stuff, and it's like, it's not great. There's something so creepy and uncanny about this style.
Have the skills to draw something like this if given a pencil and paper. He is capable of developing legitimate art skills. Many of his arguments end up relying on these artistic abilities and talents. He believes that he's getting the results that he is because of his own art skills, and he makes that point very clear throughout the entire video. You're going to notice that this claim directly clashes with how he's choosing to use AI. Instead of continuing to spend the time to grow his artistic abilities that he's proud of, he's now choosing to use that time to prompt a model trained off of others in order to finish his work. This video is an attempt at justifying his.
But I mean, if he enjoys that, is there a problem with that? Like, if he's getting the result that he wants. And here's the thing with AI. This is why I don't like AI art over just, say, commissioning somebody. Not that I really do commission people very frequently, like very super infrequently. But like, the problem I find with AI art is you never really get exactly what you want. And that's why I feel like real artists will always have a place, because you can get only the exact things that you want with, you know, a real person. Like, AI art will do a pretty good job, but it'll always just be a little bit off. Like, you know what I mean? Nia, member for 12 months. Wait, why doesn't StreamYard show this anymore? The stream, every time I come back to StreamYard, things change. He says, this guy's job as 3D artist may be a bit biased. Well, of course. I mean, this is the problem, is that a lot of these people are so invested in their own, I mean, you should be invested in your own success. But like I said, everybody loves AI art. Oh, no, sorry. Everybody loves AI when it does things that they like, when it answers them questions in ChatGPT, when it gets them to the restaurant sooner, when it finds them discounts when they're shopping online, when they're doing anything, when they're using search engines, they love it. But then the second it's AI art, something in their brain switches and they become like viscerally angry at it. And I do think that people have an irrational fear or hatred of it for some reason. And I think it's because a lot of people online specifically have a lot of these artists have a lot of free time because, again, they're unemployed. Which is, that's fine. That's fine. Just a bit of a joke there. But I think that they use art as their entire identity. And the idea, it's like a star-bellied sneetch thing, right? If everybody can be an artist and nobody's an artist, then they've suddenly wasted their entire life or something. I think that's why people hate it so much. And it's usually artists on Twitter, specifically. I think people in real life don't give a shit because they just, like I said, they consume the product, not the process.
Use of AI art. The video starts with Shad explaining that he drew characters in physical form on paper, but he mentioned something a little weird.
It was a great revelation to me later on in life. It wasn't actually the physical, mechanical movement of drawing that I was actually enjoying, but it was the creation of something. I never particularly enjoyed working with physical mediums, but
I don't enjoy looking at anything. Like, I hate this like skinny style. You know what I mean? It's like this uncanny skinny. It's almost doll-like. You know what I mean? I really don't like this.
Discovering digital coloring fixed all the problems that I was finding with hand coloring myself, and enabled me to produce much, much higher quality art than I was able to do without it. Technology enabled me to produce much higher quality artworks, cutting out much of the tedious processes, and enabled me to express my artistic vision faster, easier, to a higher level of quality. So as you can imagine, any technology that grants this same benefit, I am very, very interested in, hence my interest in AI art generators. Many people view this new technology.
Yeah, you caught me, guys. I like my drawings thick. Okay, you caught me.
As something that robs people of their artistic pursuit and potential. What I see is
I think Shed is actually right about this. Is that the visceral reaction that artists are complaining about online is that they feel like if it's a thing that everyone has access to, then they're no longer special.
Exact opposite. Indeed, far from robbing artistic expression, when you're...
I hate this so much. There's something I hate about this. Like, so this image is so... I'm sorry. I don't like this at all.
Approach it with intent, having a specific vision in your mind that you want to achieve. It can enable you to bring that vision into a level of reality, detail, and beauty than you might ever have been able to do without it.
I don't know. There's something, like I said, this actually scares me. Like if I saw this in a dark alleyway, I would yelp or something.
So this is the first example that he chose. I'm not sure why he used this as an example of AI making something look better.
Yeah.
I'd much rather just look at the first one. The realistic AI one is more detailed, don't get me wrong, but that's all it has going for it.
I think that's also, that's kind of a mistake that I think that Shad comes up with a lot, is that he thinks that detail is equal to skill or equal to beauty. I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but in my case, I don't think so. There's something really I don't like about this at all.
Details that the AI did put there don't even make sense. What's up with her hair? Is this supposed to be photorealistic like the face in the skirt, painterly like the armor, or hand-drawn like the sword? The one he made without AI is just better. It's in a consistent art style because all of the skills used to make the image are his.
I can't get enough. Back with another milk. Help! Help!
That's what that. Okay, I actually never saw that original meme from this guy yelling help. I've heard that voice so many times. I didn't know there was a milkshake or anything involved in it. That's crazy. It's like finding a wild animal when you're on a safari or something.
Help me!
But when you combine other artistic talents and abilities that you cultivate in other mediums,
All right, well, hold on a second. This is becoming a sort of an art review thing.
but when you combine
I do like this one better though. Again, I hate this, like, it's almost like flimsy. You know, like this weird like S curve he's got going on here. I don't like that. But I do feel like the coloration looks much better, and the face looks like Shad's faces are really unattractive in my opinion. This one does look better.
other artistic talents and abilities that you cultivate in other mediums, that enables you to make the very best art with this technology. And I'm not kidding in this. I am an artist. I've developed a very keen eye for proportion and detail, and I have applied that in every artistic pursuit in whatever medium I'm using.
So the way
All right, hold on a second. I'm going to try. What is this? Show comments on stage. How does this change things? Does it change? No, I can't seem to read member chats on StreamYard at the moment for some reason. But Sam says, I'm partially disabled, so AI helps me with my art. Okay, there you go.
he's using
So,
AI to draw an
labor-saving
incomplete image
device.
and then feed it into the model to get something that looks better. So this is just the how to draw an owl meme. This is a joke about glossing over important parts of the creative process. You can only get so far with the skills you have, and if you don't have the skills to draw the rest of the owl, well, that's what you're going to be left with. When you
No, there's just, I mean, that's a funny joke to make, but it's not true because you're left with the owl because the AI generated the owl. Again, it's the process. I mean, you're not consuming the process, you're just consuming the product, and the product is the owl. If you tell people you spent 10 hours working on the owl, they won't appreciate it more, honestly. Maybe your mum or something will, but that's about it.
you rely on AI to draw the rest of the owl for you, what you're doing is you're relying on the artist who can finish it without AI. Anything you put into a machine trained off of their work will just end up looking like their work or a combination of those artists' works.
But that's not entirely true because it's not relying on any one person. It's an amalgamation. And again, in many ways, the same process that regular artists use to learn their own abilities.
Because that's how image generation forms images.
It's made by me using the tool of AI to achieve the specific vision that I have in my mind.
This is going to be the main claim that
Here's a problem with what Shad is saying, though, is that his specific vision that he has in his mind is not actually accurate. Like, Shad goes through like this process where he's like tweaking images and stuff, but these two images, while they may look similar if you like squint your eyes or something, they are almost completely different when you look at the characters. The only thing that, like, they're wearing a blue skirt and they've got like puffy sleeves, but these two characters are not alike. Like, this one is like a medieval sort of dress. You've got this like this Celtic knot and everything, these like stockings and these belts, and you've got these like hair clips. And this is just a Japanese school uniform, stylized with a sword. And this is what AI will always end you with. So this is the trade-off to not paying someone and getting it very quickly, is that you get something that's always a little bit off. This is not what he was going for. Like, this result is good for what Shad's example, but if you actually take a look at it and see what he was going for, they're just not the same.
he sticks to when he defends his use of AI art. He makes the claim that anything he prompts is coming from his mind, just like an artist using tools, and so any art that comes out of it is his art. This right here is a good demonstration of the core of the problem that I'm going to be covering throughout the rest of this video. He's clearly proud of the art abilities that he did legitimately learn. He did obviously spend some time figuring out how to draw to this level. He clearly wants to create art, but now with the invention of AI, instead of continuing to put that time into developing his own skills, he believes that he can successfully forego all of that learning by just having the right prompts, and that should give him the same level of respect as a real artist.
Did he say that? Did Shad say that he deserves the same amount of respect as someone that is a quote-unquote real artist? I'm not sure if he did, but I don't think he does. Like, I think it's like something different. Like, they go on to talk about something, or it's like, it's not art, it's more like direction. And I would agree with that. I feel like that's, I almost want to use the phrase engineer. It's like an AI engineer or not programmer, but director. It's like an AI director, essentially. I don't think that makes you an artist if the majority of your work is being generated by AI.
Wants us to think that this is his art because he chose the prompt. By the way, if you ever think I'm like being too hard on Shad, you have not seen his Twitter. He tweets like if you ask ChatGPT to roleplay as an insecure 13-year-old. For someone that claims to be such a good writer, which he
Okay, so he's highlighted the
it's like
words
if you asked
retard.
ChatGPT to roleplay as an insecure 13-year-old.
Let's see. So the original comment was, apparently Shad used AI to write his novel Shadow of the Conqueror. Fucking grifter. My novel was published before AI models were invented, you retard. But if AI was available, I like writing too much to have an AI do it, and I can write better than AI anyway. Well, I mean, for now. But I wouldn't begrudge anyone for using AI in writing, especially if they wanted to. Like, who gives a shit if people are using retard as a word? Doesn't matter.
For someone that claims to be such a good writer, which he also does, you would think he'd be able to come up with something a little bit more creative to say than this.
On Twitter, who gives a shit? Like, this is completely it doesn't mean anything.
He says this word a lot. I bet he thinks it makes
Retarded is the word. Retarded is the word.
him look cool or like a rebel or something. He's 39 years old, by the way.
Who gives
This
a
is
shit?
embarrassing.
First, you need to
This is something I think a lot of young people do. Like people in their 20s, they're always like appealing to age as if it means something, as if they're not going to be exactly the same when they get to their 30s and 40s. People don't change that much. After you're like 25 and you start working, you kind of settle into your groove and you're going to be basically the same person. Now, there are, of course, some different situations. Some people go through very life-altering things, but the majority of people are exactly the same, more or less. They're just a few pounds heavier, and they've got a mortgage or something. But young people love to use this. They're like, he's old. It doesn't mean anything. As if old people don't like to have fun, don't like to be silly, don't like to do the same things that they enjoyed when they were younger. Like, again, this kind of appeals to probably his friend group and to the people on Twitter, but it doesn't really mean anything.
find the prompt, and finding the prompt that works best is a process that can take thousands of different tries. Experienced people with these programs know how to tweak the prompt as they generate images, guiding it by altering the prompts to get the results you want.
This is another common argument
But
people
the
make in
thing is, Shad is kind of lying here, because you never ultimately get what you really want. You get something that's close enough. And that's why ultimately real art is better. But the thing is, the audience doesn't know what you're trying to create. So while the artists themselves will never be completely happy with the AI art, the audience can be indifferent or enjoy it more. This is also a very big issue with like a good tip for video making is you typically have like an idea in your head that you want to accomplish, and you can kind of like be very anal about it and focus on that little detail, and nobody gives a shit. And they don't know what you were trying to do in the first place, so it doesn't matter. As long as they enjoy the content that is produced it's the same thing. And there's the same thing with AI, essentially. If people enjoy the product, they don't care about the process.
favor of AI art that just doesn't make a lot of sense. What useful transferable art skills will someone have gained after a month of prompting? Are you really improving your art skills by tweaking prompts for an hour? Or do you think that time might be better served, I don't know, learning a Blender tutorial? He's interested in making good-looking images, but he isn't interested in learning how to actually do it. When you say you made this art, people expect you to have a creative process that you put actual thought
Again,
in.
I think it's kind of cringe if Shad was going around saying that I made this when it's the computer that did, like, I'd say the majority of the work on this one. That is cringe. And there are a lot of AI art bros out there that are very, very cringe.
Too. Artists that don't need to use AI have this creative process and are able to create their own original styles by making technical decisions non-artists won't even be thinking about. They have the prerequisite knowledge to be able to make those decisions, and they actually think about the purpose of every single detail that's shown to us. Any decision they make about a piece of art is informed by their actual technical knowledge about their own abilities to create art. This lets them experiment and create their own styles rather than relying entirely on copying other people's styles. When you use AI to skip over large parts of the creative process and claim it's better because it cuts you out of the process, Shad. That's the problem. You can have
That's kind of a funny burn, but not necessarily true.
the most descriptive and creative prompt ever, but when you put it into a machine trained from other people's art, you aren't the artist anymore. You may be an art director, someone who tells an artist what to make, but you aren't the artist. I do not see you
Yeah, I agree with this. I'd say that calling someone an AI art director is better.
using AI in this way as making your art better. I see it as an admission that he doesn't have the skills he needs in order to properly express his creative vision. This leaves him reliant on the art skills of those who can.
So I start generating a couple of images, and yes, some look good, but they don't have what I'm after. And then I generated this image, and at first I was ready to move on, but I paused because there was something that I saw in this image that I had to go back to. And this is where applying artistic talent is really important. You might not see what I see in this image, but I see potential for a brilliant pose and composition here. It's not actually there, but I see the potential for it. This is huge.
This sounds like just kind of like a bit of huffing his own farts, honestly. I can see the potential inside the super glue. Well, we'll see how he changes it in any functional way.
really important, and it defines such a massive difference in someone who is able to apply an artistic eye to this process versus someone who doesn't have the experience or ability to do so, and they're just limited with the images that they're able to generate.
Yeah, I wonder who made that pose. He seems to have landed on an image he likes. He also brings up how he has the artistic eye to make better images than what the AI model can produce on its own. He's going to attempt to prove this point in this next section by doing
I just noticed that this hand is like like if you copied this hand and reflected it, you could make something funny, is what I'll say.
manual edits to the image that he could have just asked the AI model to do if he had prompted it correctly.
And so with this image, I now have a vision of what I can achieve with it. But to achieve that, that's going to require me editing the image into a far stronger guide to what I want the final image to be. And so to do that, we're going to bring it into Photoshop, and we have the base foundation image of the one that I want to achieve. The vision I have in my mind has now been composed by hand in Photoshop. This is not the AI doing this. This is me making a hand composition based off an AI-generated image, making many significant changes to achieve a far greater composition that the AI never would have made on its own.
You know, you can just ask the AI to make the changes you're making to it, right?
The primary selling point of AI is
That's actually, I haven't really thought about, like, hold on, we'll see where they're going with this. We'll see where they're
that
going
it
with this
is
first.
cheap and easy. Now, some people might say that
Yeah, I think the
good
face
AI
looks
art
fucked.
requires prompt engineering. Does it? I mean, check it out. With multimodal inputs, you can upload reference photos and files. And if something isn't turning out right, you could just ask why. Or better yet, get it to ask you clarifying questions. And once it generally understands your request, you could get it to generate a new prompt for you. That isn't prompt engineering. That's good communication.
I realized that there was one
That's kind of That's kind of really funny. I never thought about that. Like, just ask the AI to tell you what you want it to say or want it to produce, and then it'll tell you the right language. That's kind of funny.
change that I forgot.
It's not
And that's
really
the kind of metal
communication, but-
stockings that she has on her legs. No, I don't want that. So I'm going to paint over this with a basic skin texture and notice
I think the metal stockings look great, by the way. I like metal stockings.
that I'm adding simple shading to it. Yet even the simple shading does require a knowledge of basic shading principles. And so the previous experience I have in digital coloring is being used to a very significant degree here. Without that, it would have been much, much harder for the AI to redo the legs in a better, more realistic look. And
Would it? Couldn't you just, like, again, like, to the guy's, what's his name? Andy? Is it Andy? Yeah, Andy R. I mean, could you not just ask the AI to say, like, take off the metal legs so that she's got bare thighs? Can you thigh max this image for me, please? I feel like you could just easily do that. I mean, if Shad enjoys this process, then that's fine. I mean, I don't believe he's selling these like slightly lewd Supergirl edits or whatever. I think it's just for his personal collection.
to have had removed those metal kind of stockings.
So the reason he's painting out the stockings like this is to tell the AI model to take it off in the next generation. I'm not sure why he thinks this was necessary.
Wait a second. The chat actually did StreamYard put a chat on screen, like built-in thing? Oh yeah, okay. Oh my goodness, StreamYard actually did do something good. There we go. Show comments on stage. That's what that does. Okay.
Considering any sufficiently advanced model is able
Say
to do
something in
that
chat. You can. It appears like as a. I mean, I just do it sometimes with overlays or whatever, but it's kind of neat.
its own if you just ask it. Painting it like this is just giving the model more information to
Now it's
generate
not
from
working.
the
Oh, there it
simple text
goes.
prompt. He's still going to rely on AI to make it actually look good. Anytime he spent finding prompts and fixing errors from the AI is time he could have spent actually improving the art skills that all of his arguments are relying on.
And to say the final image that we're going to get out of this foundation was just made by the AI is completely false and disingenuous. We have a great composition with dynamic
Should have known you guys
lighting,
would do that.
a good pose, and it's been the combination of using the strengths of the Rev animated model and my own artistic eye and digital illustration ability to achieve it.
It's really important to him that you think the AI model isn't making the image.
I hate this style, by the way. It's like this weird, like photorealistic thing. It's very prominent in AI art. I just don't like it. It's like it's a bit too shiny. I don't know how to describe it. You know something's off.
He claims that this is his image because of his artistic eye and the edits he made to the image. Let's quantify what art skills he needed in order to make this. Very basic Photoshop edits, and that's it. The AI model made the rest. It made pretty much the entire image, and now he's claiming that this is his art because he used his art skills to fix it, when that part was completely unnecessary, and he could have just asked the AI model to fix it for him.
Well, the legs belong to him. We'll give him that, okay? He gets the legs.
Using Photoshop to paint out different parts of an image he wants an AI model to change doesn't make him the artist. It's just a way to prompt AI with more information than only
light
text.
sources. You don't know this. There could be a light source in front of her. Yes, the sun is behind her. Maybe somebody's exploding right in front of her, but she used her laser vision. You got to use your imagination.
It's a shortcut and there's a cost to using it. The cost is your own creative agency, and that will come across in the images you create and how people feel about your work.
I mean, that's the cost, but the benefit is what you're excluding here. The benefit is the time being saved by not improving those skills. Now, ultimately, you may get a better product by doing it yourself. And you would, I think, with enough time given. Although I guess not everyone can improve their art. Like some people just, their hands don't work or some shit. But you save like an immense amount of time. And for some people, that benefit is enough.
And
this is very funny, though. It's weird. Somehow, when I have someone else do the work for me, it ends up better. That is a very funny burn, I will have to say.
Intentional side effect of all of this is it starts reflecting in the comments of the actual artists that we're trained off of. Actual legitimate artists.
All right, so here he's going to complain a little bit about... I think this is what many artists are complaining about, and the main reason they actually don't like this is because people accuse them of being AI, and this is something that I've experienced myself, so I know this feeling.
And painters are right now being confidently accused of using AI to generate their entire work. This is not uncommon. Do you know how I know this? Because I get these comments on my own work, too. Well, if artists are getting accusations of using...
I literally got a comment about this today. Somebody said, you sound like AI, but you're not. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, why don't they just show that guy how do they make it? Okay, I have a high-quality video showing exactly how I make my Backrooms videos, titled How Backrooms Videos Are Made. I left a comment and reply, telling him, you should watch this video. It shows you exactly how I make my Backrooms videos. No AI was used. After I showed him this, he of course apologized to me, and then...
Bro, it's obvious that this is, and I've watched a lot of videos about backdrops. I work in Blender myself. You should look at the light bulbs, they're chaotic.
Yeah, that would be a great point if there weren't literally a section in the video that specifically goes over that and links to a tutorial on how to do it. They're randomly selected inside of the program. You probably...
Hold on a second. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this guy's background videos, how it's made. All right, let's take a look. This is the backrooms. If you're not a Zoomer or you're not a child or something, so the backrooms is basically unemployed children are afraid of working, so that when they see an office or a very drab building where offices usually are, it makes them filled with existential dread. So the idea of the backrooms is you fall through the world, like in a video game, sometimes you clip through the world. This is what happens. You clip through the world, you fall through the floor or like a corner or something, and then you're stuck in an office and there's like a spooky squiggle monster, which is the boss, okay? And he's coming to make sure you're not using Reddit or something. This is what's scary for kids these days. I mean, this is very good though. I will say that he's very talented at using Blender. All right, where's these
features to select 8.
Let's see. This is like when you fall. This is how you fall through the floor. Okay. This is what children are scared of today, falling through the floor, because it happens in Fortnite or something, I guess. And now you have to run around through the office. This is what Backrooms is.
Probably should have watched the video before you made this comment.
My brother works at King AI.
I think he means Kling.
And I can understand that for sure this is a neural network. I'm not accusing you of anything.
Yes, you are.
I'm just telling you the way it is. You probably uploaded photos to IE and made the AI make a video of it.
Teacher always handed you your test back face down, didn't they? You don't even need to search for the video. I said
that's a funny burn. I haven't heard that one before. But like, the thing is, you're always going to have haters, and haters are always going to just hate your art or your product or for whatever reason. And it seems like the go-to one is now it's been generated by AI. But you have to ignore the haters. They literally do not matter.
This is the channel trailer. You click on my channel and it starts playing automatically. You have no excuse.
I mean, it doesn't for me because I have FlashBlock installed, but okay.
People like this guy are everywhere. If they accuse you of using AI, they'll fight you to the death over it, regardless of the fact of whether it actually even is.
And what I've done right here, knowing how to work the settings to get the results you want, is something that only comes with experience and practice. It is literally a skill that you develop using this new tool.
You know what only comes with experience and practice?
All right, so this is the finished product?
A skill that you develop.
Is this better than the original? Or I honestly, I mean, yeah, there's differences. Like they've cleaned up the top. They removed the metal leggings. And they've changed the hand a little bit, but it's not that much different, honestly. I couldn't tell you which one was better. I think I prefer the one with the metal thigh highs because I just like thigh highs. So like, I mean, Shad's very happy with this, but is it like, could I tell that he generated this? Could I tell that somebody engineered this? No. I mean, this just looks like regular AI slop to me. So I don't know. I guess maybe Shad's very happy with it, but again, because I'm the consumer, not the person observing the process, I don't like it either way.
Using this new tool.
Yeah, she
You
needs
know
to
what
be
only comes
thicker.
with experience and practice? Learning how to paint something like that. You're unintentionally devaluing the skills of the most talented artists in the world because you're telling them, why should I practice to get to your level when I can instead train an AI off of your work and then pretend like that's inspiration?
It doesn't matter. Like if Shad's spending all his time making muscular men in his AI generator, does it matter? Does it devalue the other person's? I don't think so.
then parade myself around for being so artistically skilled from generating things from your work.
All right,
He's
it is pretty cringe to sign. If you sign your AI art, that is pretty cringe.
just wearing a TF2 spy mask of a real artist.
And so I have 3 base images that I'm going to work with, and I'm going to grab some of the best elements of each. It's done the foot really, really well in this image, but only the left foot. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to change that into a right foot and add it to the image. Again, the ability to do this requires knowledge.
Wait, isn't this the... That's the right foot, isn't it? Because it's reversed. I mean, he's down under, though, so maybe everything's backwards in the reflections and things.
Of anatomy and proportion. Because I know how to draw feet, I also know how to change and warp this one so it will match a right foot in the image.
Are you telling us it takes knowledge of anatomy and proportion to know that's where a right foot goes? Because that's her left foot. He keeps mentioning how it was
True.
necessary to have knowledge of proportion to fix the error on the other foot when there was nothing stopping him from just putting it back in the model and having that fix it for him. If he's fine with an AI model making this much of the image, then what's stopping him from just having it do the rest? Is it really necessary to have any knowledge of how art is made at all when you can just ask the AI model to fix those errors for you?
And we finally have a much better image, which is the direct result of very intentional.
Is this this is the final product? The thing is, like, people really only focus on the face, unless they're like absolute gooners or something. So, like, because eyes are like magnets for any attention. So you go straight to the person's face, and that's all that I notice. I don't really notice any of the costume details, really. They're just kind of like, I mean, maybe some people look at different parts. Sure, okay. I'm kind of walking into a trap here that I realize. But like the face still looks, I don't like this face. So that's gonna make the standard for how I see this entire image.
Action taken by myself. This wasn't the AI pushing for these results. That was me, as if I had a digital brush.
Yeah, I knew
remaking the image.
somebody would say
Okay,
this.
he clearly thinks of himself as the person who created the image, and the AI model is just a tool like a brush, and so that should make him the artist. The problem with this being that the model was trained from other artists' work specifically so that he doesn't have to learn anything to get something that looks just as detailed as their work. He wants you to think that he has the skills to do this while at the same time heavily relying on the skills of others.
And here we can see the process which we just undertook. There are some image stages that are not appearing because I didn't save them at that
Okay, so it looks more photorealistic in this one, but again, I don't like this.
stage. But you can still see the overall process, which took me 2.5 hours from start to finish. A lot more time, work, effort, and skill needed.
Maybe this is the problem, because Shadiversity complains that his channel's dying like every 6 months. Although let's see how he's doing recently. 1.4 million in the last 30 days. That's pretty good. Maybe if you didn't spend 2 hours doing Supergirl gooning sessions in the AI generators and making more videos, he wouldn't have as many problems as he does now.
Than just a click. I can't see how anyone who watched this entire process could then assume that the AI is just doing all the work and that there is no human artistic vision or input or talent needed. People who say such things honestly do not know what they are talking about. They are
I mean, if I go to Grok right now and I generate, like, what is it like? All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Photo. Oh wait, generate photo. Realistic Supergirl flying. Let's see. Flying through the sky, clouds and sun. Sun in background. Extreme detail. I've never generated AI images, honestly. It's extreme detail, flowing red cape. Let's see what we get. It's going to be piss filtered, isn't it? Because it's stupid Grok. I don't know. I only use Grok because I just have a Twitter account. Let's have a look. Let's see what we get. I mean, it looks more realistic. Hold on. All right. How do I open this without revealing images or whatever? I got to download it. Is that it? Save image. Okay, save image. So this is what I got straight away. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. Like, how would I know? How do you tell? How do you tell the difference between these two? Like, what do you guys think? Do you like my one for one that I generated in 3 seconds? Or do you like I feel like this one's got more detail, honestly. Like, it looks more realistic. I mean, she's not wearing a skirt. I didn't type that into the prompt though. No titties. 1. Superman. Don't like mine. All right, let me try again. Let's see. Regenerate, same prompt, but full body, wearing a skirt with legs. If I type, I don't want to get weird shit though, with legs showing. Let's see. Let's see what we get. Or I could just copy and paste this image and Shad's image and then put it into Grok and then say, like, regenerate this in a different way. All right, let's see if we get something better. All right, well, this one's kind of funny. Okay, that one's not so good. All right, let me see. Bare legs, please. I'm not going to show this one. Sorry. Just give me 1 more second. Give me a couple more seconds. People like get distracted by AI. That's the biggest problem. The biggest reason that AI is bad is that it's a goblin for your time, and people just spend all day generating it. I had one that looked pretty good, but then it just didn't have the legs. So maybe Shed is onto something. What? I'll show you what they get. All right, damn. Maybe Shad's onto something. Who can say? Replace, yes. All right. Here you go. Sorry, we got the censored version. We got the censored version. So maybe we do need Shed to come in here and save the legs, because this is what I got. Oh dear. I should have I don't know, I said bare legs, please. And then I got like these Spider-Man pants. This may be that maybe Elon is setting the I like the top better though. I like the top better. Like when I was watching the generation, it was like pretty good up until here. Anyway, we're going to continue. Given enough time, I could get the legs to be bare, but I'm not going to waste like more than a minute on this bit.
Statements from profound ignorance when it comes to this technology.
So apparently it took him 2.5 hours to make this. This is another one of his favorite talking points. He likes to bring up how much time it took him to generate.
Wait, the full AI coloring took about 8 hours. Hold on a second. This is some weird ass shit. Like, this is some real thick. Okay, I ordered thickness, but I don't know about this. Let me open this up into the crime lab for a second. Let's have a look. These are some meaty. These are some meaty legs. Look at this. You got all of this, and then you've got that little cheeky bit of butt from behind. You know, that little part there. That's some meaty legs. We got like 8. He spent 8 hours. 8 hours. Like, this is just gooning. He's just gooning. That's what's going on here.
Something he wanted. He's trying to convince you that since he spent a long time to get to an image that he wanted, that also means that it must have taken a lot of skill and effort as well, just like a real artist. This argument doesn't really make a lot of sense when he's relying on AI this heavily. Like, what exactly is he spending that time doing? It looks to me like he used a prompt to generate something that was kind of close to what he wanted, and then, for some reason, used manual tools to try to do basic fixes that he could have just asked the AI model to do if he had actually prompted it correctly. He isn't learning how to make art, he's learning how to do basic fixes in Photoshop.
And deeply insulting to me.
A lot of people will argue and say that that is art, though. Like using Photoshop exclusively.
Me as an artist.
Like, is editing a photo, is that art? Like, you get into these kind of like these very you get in the weeds with these sort of questions. Like, is it editing? I would say it's more editing than anything. It's Photoshop editing. I wouldn't really call it artistic. But he certainly has an idea and he's directing it to get to that goal.
Has just made something of deep artistic expression.
Do you know what's deeply insulting to all artists? Someone that trains off of our work with AI, prompts anything, and then pretends like now they're the talented artist with all the skills. He thinks that this should earn him the same level of respect as a real artist.
The claim that AI art is in no way art at all is a statement of profound ignorance and elitism. And people can believe that. I just know it's not true, because I know I continually experience deep artistic satisfaction from the things I am able to create with these incredible tools.
I think it's very clear that he's getting deep satisfaction from bare legs. That I will give to him.
You might get satisfaction from generating things from AI, but as an artist, that is a nightmare that I am genuinely afraid of. Using
Why?
my ability.
Why is he afraid of it, chat? He can do it. He can still make his art at home by himself. Nobody's stopping from what he could possibly be afraid of, except the one thing that people are really concerned about, which is, of course, losing income.
Just to fix up AI-generated slop and pass it off as my own. I could not imagine a less creatively satisfying and more demeaning role for a creative position than that. You are turning what should be a job where innovation can shine and actual original artist can be heard into one that sounds like all the worst parts of assembly line and cubicle work combined.
Because look at this final image. How could anyone say that it is made by AI?
Oh, it is. It looks like AI to me. I mean, it just is.
And it's literally impossible for the AI to have made it.
No, it's not. It's not impossible, but the answer is not necessarily what you want, but it's absolutely possible that the AI could have done this first. It just didn't. So you had to edit it to the more what you wanted it to be like. But it absolutely could have generated like this.
Or how much human input was involved to create this image, this piece of art. I hope everyone who's watched this video now knows that no, this is a piece of art made by me, made by a human, using tools in combination with other artistic tools like Photoshop and my own artistic ability.
I disagree. Like, he just edited it. I would say he edited it. Like, there's some sort of threshold, and I don't know where it is, and there's probably no real line, but I feel like if it's like, use AI art or AI tools for like 10, 20, 30% of it, like the background, coloring, shading, that sort of things, I feel like that's fine. But there's a certain part where, like, he edited like maybe 5% of this image or something, essentially. At that point, I don't believe that it's a human made or it's his art. It's just he's edited some AI slop to be a slightly different type of AI slop that has bare legs and didn't have a different background. I believe that you can absolutely use AI tools to accomplish various things, but there is a line. I think it's somewhere around 30 or 40% where you have to just say, okay, the machine made this, and I'm just taking credit for it.
It's still human-made art, just assisted with AI technology.
This is looking a hell of a lot more like human-assisted AI art than it is AI-assisted human art.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that entirely. And this, at least in this example, this is human-assisted AI art.
The AI make the art and the human fix the errors are the exact opposite roles those two should have. You're telling new artists that their work isn't good enough and they should just steal more talented artists' work instead. Don't learn how to actually use the software real artists use, don't learn how to make actually innovative decisions, and don't learn how to make images actually look good. Just vibe it out from other people that know how to do that instead. Any skills in
just vibe check it, yeah. Is a banana taped to a wall art? No, that's tax fraud or tax evasion. But like, there's lots of stuff that is considered art that I don't like and that everyone doesn't like. That doesn't change the argument because, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The human element and the human creativity and the human imagination, the human process is what makes it art. That's why random occurrence and natural events are not art, even though they may be beautiful. And the example I like to use for this is tax evasion is an art. Well, maybe. An example I like to use for this is there's a type of art that people do called like pendulum art or something, where they'll put like a piece of blank paper on the ground and they'll have like a bucket of paint with a hole in the bottom and like a string, and it'll spin around and make like spirographic sort of art. And the final product of that is I wouldn't call that art either. I feel like the process, the pendulum itself, is the art, and the final product is like a byproduct essentially. In the same way, I feel like machine generation. The art process is in making the AI that works like the way it does.
Actual artist spends time to learn will be sucked up and trained off of, and goobers like this guy will congratulate himself for how talented of an artist he is for generating slop.
I was called a goober once and it never stops hurting. You shouldn't use that word. Like, he's very mad that Shad uses the word retard, but then he will freely call him a goober.
From it. I'm not the only one with this opinion, of course. Shad's video got a lot of replies since its release.
So let's start with the tweet he uploaded before he...
Maybe that was the real art, is getting people to comment on your video. Because sometimes you can just say something controversial to get a lot of attention, and Shad does that all the time. Particularly when he says that YouTube is like killing his content, or is he's being oppressed or anything like that, or he's being shadow banned. That's like, I am so soured on the term shadow banned. It's you don't even believe it. Every time I hear someone talking about being shadow banned, unless you're literally talking about something that is like in the forefront of media that's trying to be suppressed, like, like coof things, basically, back when that coofing was happening. That's the only time people got shadow banned, okay? Everyone else arguing about shadow banned is just boring and nobody's watching them, and they're blaming the algorithm for their own mistakes. let's see. So Shad says in this tweet here, my skills are increasing. Making a video as we speak, showing my process about how I get these results. The level of artistry needed. That's a bit like a fart huffing. The technical knowledge required, the amount of work involved. I think it's going to shock people. Not really. Not really. See, look, what the fuck? This one looks way better. She's chunkier. Look at this thick. I like this super girl over here. She looks a bit like Scarla, though, from Breaking Bad, which is kind of scary. Don't like Scarla. The AI art from 6 months ago looks way better. Like, what do you think, chat? 1? This is 1 or 2? Do I have to blow this up for you guys? As you can see. Let's have a look. This one. Where is it? Okay. I unironically like this one better. The one on the left. We'll give a quick impromptu poll. There you go. 1 or 2. As you can see here, like this is, you can actually see some actual meat on these bones. I unironically like this one better. I think it's better composed. I think it's more realistic. I feel I don't like this face is fucked up here. There's something really fucked up about this face. I think like does Shad use like real faces of people when because you can do that. I know he does it for himself. Like he'll put his own face into AI generators and make himself look like a barbarian or something. But like this is kind of weird. Like the way the skirts doesn't look natural here. Like the way it's coming up here, that's weird. You've got the two light sources again. Now, of course, it could be someone exploding in front of her, but like the sun is literally here, and then you have like a sun flare right here, so that's kind of weird. People are going to be complaining about that. But most people saying 1. I know there's some 2s in the chat. 1 because of Booba. Maybe that's the only thing that matters. Who knows?
Posted the video. He says, my skills are increasing. Making a video as we speak showing my process and how I get these results. The level of artistry needed, the technical knowledge required, and the amount of work involved I think is going to shock people. Well, let me tell you, I'm not shocked because I watched this video and it's exactly what I expected. So he says in the left image, my AI-assisted art skill 6 months ago, and on the right he says, my AI-assisted art skill now. Is the one on the right really that much better, or is it?
There's another light source actually, come to think of it, because her face is shadowed, but then there's like a light source coming down here illuminating her nose. This one's just better illuminated as well.
Just a different lighting scenario and background. What you're seeing is not an update in his skill, you're seeing an update in the models he's using and the LoRa's he's found to use. This isn't some exponential growth in terms of his abilities. You take these models away and he could not do these things. And he also misspelled assisted, so you know he's not a details guy, and there are 2 sons in
Maybe he's just, it's a Freudian slip. It's ass-isted.
this image. There's 2 major light sources coming from the front and one from the back, and I'm supposed to believe that this is skilled art because that's his whole angle here, to show how talented he is and how much work this is, as if you couldn't get very similar results with little effort while literally taking a dump. The whole selling point of AI is democratization. Everyone can do amazing things with.
All right, what is this trolley problem? Let's see. AI generation takes a lot of technical knowledge and skill to make. Anyone can make art with no skill needed. Stop gatekeeping. Multi-track grifting. That's a good one. Haven't seen that one before.
Low effort, right? So why are the high effort images virtually indistinguishable from the low effort ones?
That is actually kind of an interesting point, though, because I do think that that's a benefit, that's a boon of the AI image generation, is that allows a lot of people like Grandma to generate pictures of her dog that, like, if they look like a person or something. I don't know why she would generate that, but like, you know, there's a talent that she would never have previously in previous generations. But that is interesting to point out that a lot of the people that I do see evangelizing for AI art talk about the skill needed, and they want to gatekeep it and have they want to have the same prestige and the same recognition of regular normal artists. So that's actually kind of a funny thing to point out.
Finding ways to dump ridiculous amounts of time into an AI slot machine isn't talent or skill. It's a little more than just patience and a desire to
That's a good way of saying it too. AI slot machine, because sometimes you get good results and sometimes you don't.
keep pulling that lever for one more hit. At least with the original, I can see choices being made and intent. It shows me someone really trying to do something cool. The AI version looks worse, not better.
This isn't the only video Shad's made in defense of AI. This next one's even worse because he strongly makes the case that AI companies should be allowed to train off of everyone else's art for free.
But what about
if a regular artist can train off art for free, why shouldn't companies be able to do it? Why is the company and the person so different?
tool was made through an unethical way, which is the bigger kind of discussion, that the AI programs are trained off of copyrighted images and also images
This
made.
is not always the case. A lot of companies do ask to have access to art to be used to train it. Adobe does this, Shutterstock does this, various other companies as well.
By artists who did not consent to their artwork being used in the AI. So let's address that topic. The first thing we need to understand.
Why is he so obsessed with AI? Shadiversity or this guy? The guy's video. I think the answer to this question is that Shad has a compulsive need to be oppositional to somebody, and this is the hill he's decided to die on. He just wants to argue, I think, honestly. Because he could just generate his shit and not say it's AI and have no problem with it. But I think he enjoys the argument.
About the whole consent argument
I mean,
is that
everybody loves
ultimately
arguments,
it does
ultimately.
lead nowhere, because the people making the AI programs actually shown and said that they're able to make the AIs to work off of images in the public domain.
He's right about this. There are models that are trained off of completely public domain images. So then why does nobody use those models? All of the popular models being pushed by big tech.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I don't necessarily know if OpenAI or whatever this boat is this Midjourney? But a lot of companies are asking for permission and paying artists to use and access their libraries.
Companies
I know this personally because they've approached me, and I made some money off it.
trained off of everyone's work, not just the public domain. There's a reason for that.
Okay, as I was just talking about, is that if you have presented an image, an artwork that you've made yourself to be seen by the public, okay, that alone establishes many fair use allowances of the art and precedents that people have done with art for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Case in point, have a look at this image. You might recognize the artist. It's by Van Gogh. Many people who see this image just think it as a Van Gogh image, but have a look at this one. Looks somewhat similar, wouldn't you say? It is the Sower by Millet. Millet, don't know.
I saw something that was like Van Gogh recently. My girlfriend dragged me to this art expedition where it's like Van Gogh juxtaposed with like Japanese woodblock art. And then it like reimagines things. And it's like, it's in this room. You go to this room and it's like this big room with a lot of comfy chairs to sit on. And they play music. And then like the art like flashes past the screen. And then it like, do I have a video of this? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find it. I almost surely have something for this. I can show you what I mean. Where would it be? I've kind of fallen behind. Oh, I don't have. I just have a couple of things of the wood blocks. Okay, never mind. Yeah, but it's like this like 3D layered sort of motion tracking thing where it's like you go into the art and then it's like a digital art expedition thing. It was kind of neat. It wasn't worth the price. It was like 3,000 yen or something. But I like Japanese wood blocks. So it was kind of interesting.
How to pronounce it. And Van Gogh copied the original artwork. I think.
Yeah, it was like a screen projector art show. But then like the art would like hit the floor and then it would become like all like tracked lines and stuff. And it would like flash over your face and stuff. Like I do have a part of that, I think. Like it was like maybe this. I gotta turn up the music for that. But I don't know if I have any of the floor. Because I just was like, oh, I can get some nice photos of some wood blocks or something. It's kind of like this. So this is ungraded, obviously, so you can't see the color. But like it was like the Great Wave off of Kanagawa, and then it would be moving, and then like it would hit the floor, and then it'd become all the lines, and then it would like turn into like a matrix sort of thing. It was kind of neat, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Because that was a technical piece for him to just try and
maybe projection mapping. Yeah.
Artists have been copying other artists for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's just one example amongst millions upon millions, okay? And even in a modern sense, Van Gogh's interpretation.
Wait, actually, I had something I was going to say about that. Did anyone else see like Starry Night? I think that's the most famous Van Gogh, right? Did anyone else think it was like a castle? Like I legit thought it was a castle.
Of this art piece would be absolutely allowed under the conditions of fair use because there is enough transformation in the piece. It's not a direct duplication, okay? It's not passing it off as the original that Millet made. Sorry that I can't pronounce that. But artists have been imitating other artists from the beginning. And one of the main ways is to improve their own skill sets, all right?
So this is one of the strongest points I'll be making.
Heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a great point. I was going through like a massive list of like really good Onion articles the other day, and some of them are just so funny.
But there's one key difference that makes.
I think one of the best ones was like out of touch dad raising his child on media that is going to completely ostracize her from her peers.
AI art significantly less ethical than just learning how to do it yourself. The key difference being Van Gogh did not use this image to try to undercut Millet's artwork. Right now, companies are debating whether they should just hire artists or instead prompt images trained off of their work, but for free and not have to reward the actual.
Again, it's all about marketing. If the companies can get the art and they can't tell that it's being generated, although in cases like I think the Coca-Cola company, they had like an AI videos, right? Like that was very clearly AI. As soon as companies can get away with it, they will absolutely do so. So that's why, again, I say the most important thing about making a living from art is not actually the skill, is not actually anything except the marketing and the connections. If Coca-Cola can make more money using your art because you're well connected, or because they'll get you can say, oh, we're using this real person's art, they'll make money like that. if they can get away with it without paying for it, they'll do that as well. That's how companies work. That's how business works. You have to provide some sort of value. Now you can enjoy your art for the process and for the, the joy of creation and the skill and everything yourself. That's fine. But if you're most concerned about the money that you're generating, then the only important factor is going to be the marketing, and that's just the way it is.
Artists for their effort. Why be forced to reward someone for their skills when you can instead train off the work they've already done, but for free?
It's just life doesn't actually reward you for your skills. Sorry, that's the way it is.
Van Gogh had to go through the same process as the original artist, but using his technical knowledge of art. This difference in technical knowledge and ability between the two artists is clearly visible in the art that they make. Van Gogh did not simply copy the decisions of Millet. He actually thought about every detail and how to use his technical abilities to be able to achieve it. That's how he was able to develop his own unique style that's recognized all over the globe.
See, look, this looks like I thought that this tree, it's like a tree, right? I thought this was like a castle, like a Skeksis style castle. You know the Dark Crystal? They have like a really pointy castle. I thought this was like a big castle looming over a town. Like, is anyone hold on? Dark Crystal Castle. I can't be the only one that thought about this, right? It looks like this is like the Dark Crystal Tower thing. See, it looks like the tree. That's the Skeksis castle. That's what I thought it was. I can't be the only one that thought this was a dark castle looming over a town. An idyllic town. Maybe. Where's this one? Gelfling. Wait. Yeah, the Chancellor is the best character in the Dark Crystal. I love that guy. Like, wouldn't believe.
These AI companies put
Do it for him. I'll do it for. Oh man, I can't believe they canceled the Netflix Dark Crystal show. That was amazing.
No effort to actually create the art. They don't practice and they can't get better at art. The artist was the one who puts in thousands of hours and sometimes tens of thousands of dollars to be able to make their work. AI
That sounds like a skill issue.
companies, on the other hand, can only get more accurate at training off the artist for free. AI companies are right now scraping art that artists had sacrificed parts of their own personal lives to be able to create. All of that sacrifice and effort just for all of its benefits to end up in the sacrifice parts of their own personal
So a domesticated and mystical monster.
lives to be able to create.
This looks like an example of a really talented artist that has been forced to draw fursonas to actually make money. And this is the best way. Like, this is the real people that are getting hit hard by the AI art thing, is all the gooners and all the furries that were commissioning like hundreds of dollars worth of fursonas and stuff like that. That's it. That's what it looks like is happening right here. You got like this weird chicken being domesticated by like a ferret. So it's probably like a commission by Pirate Software.
All of that sacrifice and effort just for all of its benefits to end up in the hands of AI companies who then use it to steal the opportunities from artists that they earned and spit in their face the entire time about it.
All right. Why are you okay with artists losing their jobs? You were fine with replacing postal workers with the internet? That's different. This affects me. I mean, this is a good argument, though. Like, unironically, this is a good argument. People only care about things when it affects them.
Van Gogh's image looks different because he put his own ideas in there, and he didn't just rely entirely on the work of other people. He clearly has the technical capabilities to do it himself. That's how you develop an original style, not by prompting it from others.
How come Van Gogh had the piss filter? Did he invent that, like, back then? Really, like, I just see this. That's the first thing I think about now. It's like, this is the AI piss filter. I could fix this and make it look better in like 10 seconds if I really wanted to.
You are equating an artist practicing their technical skills to make an image in their own style to a machine that fundamentally works by sucking up other people's work. Any image AI makes will be unique, but nothing will be new. Every single idea and technique that...
What? Everything will be unique, but nothing will be new? It's kind of a fun thing to say, but I don't think that's true. Isn't it new by virtue of being something unique? I guess it's not a new style. Sure, it's a derivative style, but it is a new piece of art. It is, well, not art, sorry, it's a new image, right? It's kind of fun to say, but like I said, I don't think it actually means anything.
AI can generate fundamentally has to already exist somewhere in its training data. It can only make things look like images that it has seen before. That's not how you develop an original style.
You develop an original style by copying what other people have done and then putting in the elements that you like, and then eventually imitation turns to innovation, and then you have something unique. It's exactly this. Well, not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar.
Legitimately cannot tell one AI artist style from the other because they don't have one.
This is a standard understood thing.
I mean, they could, though. That's the thing, is they could easily just generate the Ghibli piss filter images or whatever that is so prominent now, and that could become their style. The thing is that there is not that many examples of AI artists that can get away with people not finding out that it's AI. Eventually, there will be a case where someone develops a certain style or a certain look to their AI art, and they'll be able to claim that that is original art and not AI art, and you won't be able to tell the difference. There may be some suspicion, but you'll never be able to prove it. And then you will recognize their art style because they'll become famous or they'll become very popular on Twitter or something. And then you won't even know. And that's the way all these things happen.
Artistic practice. And I see a direct equivalence with people using AI to do the same. And that's the thing, because people assume it's AI doing this, all right? And that the difference is, oh, it's okay when a human...
Again, I hate it when people even call it AI, because it's not intelligent. It's simulated intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence. But again, it's kind of a nitpick.
Human does it, but when an AI does it, that's unethical for reasons that do not convince me, because this is the thing. Say I wanted to make a reinterpretation of, the original Soa painting in a new artistic style.
How is Shad going to make a painting in a new style? Is he going to A, learn art?
Nah.
B, learn art?
Nah.
C, learn art? Or D, plagiarize from
There it is,
other
finally, so I
artists?
And the medium or tool I wanted to use was AI instead of, say, Photoshop. And my intent was to...
I mean, this joke kind of falls flat because this is a video about AI, so of course he's going to use that as an example.
copy this art in...
Right. He redeemed himself with this soy jack face. Hold on.
tool I wanted to use was AI instead of, say, Photoshop. And my intent was to copy this...
This is okay. I like this guy again. Like, this is kind of funny because like half of the stuff this guy says I hate, and half of the stuff that Shadiversity stuff says I hate as well. But there's an interesting middle ground where they've both got interesting points. But this guy, even though I disagree with a lot of his points, this video is very well edited and very funny and very entertaining so far. So this is definitely an artist. This is what an artist looks like. His video is art, in my opinion. I like it. But again, I disagree when I feel like a lot of his motivations is solely from the place of fear of losing his own income.
art in a new way. There's actually no true significant difference there. Only the tool that I'm using. It's still a person choosing to do the thing that they've chosen to do, like artists have chosen to do for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Shad, believe it or not, there is a significant difference between learning how to do art yourself and just prompting from a machine made from the artists that already have. He isn't doing anything anyone else can already do with an AI image generator. That's because he doesn't have to use any real art skills at all in order to generate.
But you could say that about art as well. Like, you're not doing anything significantly different if you just learn to paint. Like, you got to develop your own style. Sure, people can develop their own style in these tools as well. Again, I don't think it's art, but like this argument just kind of falls flat in my opinion.
Something or fix it. The purpose of artists practicing off of others is to improve their own skills. The purpose of training off of someone's work with AI is precisely so you don't have to learn their skills.
If you want to see an even more direct and modern example of artists copying other artists, just type in Vincent van Gogh Starry Starry Night on DeviantArt to see how many artists have been copying Vincent van Gogh. And this is not a bad thing in any measure.
Is there a fucking TARDIS? Who did this one? There's got to be one of these variations that has like a castle, the Skeksis style castle in it. I know I can't be the only one.
In actual fact, it's a wonderful thing. People trying to learn someone else's style to complement their own in the hopes of adopting some or even all of the
All right, this one's close enough to a castle. The pixel art one.
elements of this style to be used in their own future unique artworks.
He's making the comparison that prompting an AI model trained from other people's work is the same thing as developing his own skills. Prompting AI is not a skill. Even
Hold on. Are all pictures art? Is that what art is? Pictures? No. All pictures are not art. But some art are pictures.
if it was, it certainly wouldn't be a very valuable one. Especially not when his prompts are entirely reliant on the people that actually do have the artistic skills he's trying to convince you he has.
A person should still have the right, especially under fair use, and everything, to learn from other people's artworks, to imitate it, to try and develop the same styles and things. And then what if the person wants to do that and just use AI to achieve it?
Why would they want the AI to achieve it, Chad? The entire purpose of using AI in this way is to avoid learning the traditional art skills that it was trained from. It's a heck.
Yeah, it's a time-saving exercise, and there's a trade-off you have to deal with when you save time, and that is you get something that isn't exactly what you wanted. Sorry, you can also get this when you commission art as well. The commission sometimes doesn't go the way you want. Sometimes the artist has a different idea. Sometimes it's just not very good, but you still have to pay for it anyway, and then you're out what, $200 for your persona.
It's a lot easier to use an AI model trained from painters than it is to learn how to be a painter.
It's the person doing it. And so in hypothetically restricting the AI's right, you're actually taking away rights of individuals and people and aspiring artists that want to use this tool to develop artworks that they envision.
Us not wanting for-profit companies to steal our work for free and make a profit from it is actually oppressing the humble, struggling AI artist. He's telling people that it's fine to take an artist's work for free and use it to undercut them out of their own job. He's telling
I mean, that's the way business works, I'm afraid. If you have a better product than somebody, why should I be forced to pay for their inferior product? You have to find that median where what you do and what you're good at can produce something that somebody wants to pay for. And if it so happens that you're no longer able to be an artist commercially, maybe you need to improve your skills or try a different style that AI isn't imitating. And of course, AI could catch up and start imitating you again, but you'll always be the one doing the first iterations. Like AI will be in catch up. You got to develop your, like, again, this is why I say that the most important thing in this business for art is marketing more so than the actual skill involved. There's a lot of really shitty art I see that I absolutely hate, and people make a butt ton of moment. Like one of them, it's like, hold on, what is it? You know, like one of them is like Let Laney draws or whatever, but another one is like, have you guys seen the red dot? Let me see if I can find this real quick. The red dot. Maybe she's not on Twitter. She's probably the kind of person that wouldn't be on Twitter because she primarily makes period jokes. That's why it's like the red dot. I really hate this style of art. This person makes a lot of money though. Let me see. I'm trying to find a safer work picture. Let me see. Here we go. This is close. This is close enough. I hate this art style. Let's see. You said you wanted cherry on top this Sunday. How was I supposed to know you meant ice cream? The sprinkles are just a coincidence. Like this person, she has an entire industry built around her comics and this art style, and I hate it. But her marketing is so good, and her niche is so, you know, it appeals to women. That she makes a lot of money doing this. So again, it's not about does this take skill? I feel like I could do a better drawing than this in like 5 minutes, unironically. But like it's iconic. It's got like it's very recognizable, I guess you could say. This is what you got to do. You got to get your marketing more so than your actual skill. That's the most important thing.
Telling people that there's money to be made in rating the careers of more talented artists. Artists like Jazza, an art YouTuber I've been showcasing throughout this video. Here's something you might not know about these two. They're brothers!
Wait, what? Really? Wait, I think I've heard this before, actually. Hold on a second. What's his name? Jazza? That's a very Australian name. Hold on a second. Jazza? Let's bring this up. Jazza. Jazza YouTube. Jazza. This is this is like this video is very good. It's very good in what it does, even though I disagree with some of the points. But this is so funny. This is so funny. So wait, Shadiversity has a brother who has more subscribers than him. Jazza has almost 7 million subscribers. How many views a month is he getting? 3 million? Wait, so Shadiversity is like the That's so funny. Wait, he's an artist? Nintendo might sue me for making
In this video, I'm going to see if I can make a convincing Pokemon card from scratch, and I'm going to...
Wait, he's better looking than Shadiversity too? He can't keep getting away with it. Wait, hold on a second. We've got to find a frame. So he's making...
that there's a...
Wait, so he's like the younger brother or something? Wait, look, we've got to get the side-by-side comparison. Wait, it's so unlikely though. It's like so unlikely that one family would have two YouTubers that both have over 1 million subscribers. But Shadiversity is like, what, he's like older? And this guy's like way more popular, younger, and he's doing like he's like making his own fake Pokemon cards. He's wearing a mask though, but I mean, you know, he's in Australia.
Baking paper cut to size.
This is a really good, really editing is really good too, like very professional.
So now I had 3, hopefully, believe.
Yeah, this is the Shadiversity. We found Shadiversity. That's so funny. Oh my goodness, poor Shad, poor Shad. Oh dear. This is a great twist. Great twist in the video. I love these sort of twists when people find this sort of stuff.
Here's something you might not know about these two. They're brothers!
Alrighty. My artistry is actually at a professional level.
And we'll give in like martial arts. You weren't like Olympic level.
This is professional. No, I'm not at that. I think artistry should be at 2 and rad is 2.
You're going to need some context for this clip. They're filling out a roleplay card for Shad. They get to the part where they decide whether to give him 1 point for artistry or 2. Chaos ensues.
Okay. I think we need honest opinions. You can get 2 in later. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Hold on a second. I can't see, for some reason, I cannot see. Apparently there was some super chats. I didn't notice them. I apologize. I can't see them on my YouTube dashboard or or my StreamYard dashboard for some reason, but I found them in the background. All right, so sorry. Fatty Caddy said with a 5. I want an AI bugger parallax in his bun for what? For saying I'm not responsible for his stream. Thanks, me. Yes, Fatty Caddy is responsible for this stream because I've been very busy recently. And sometimes you need like an easy React stream, and that's what this is. I needed to get back into the groove of doing things. And it's absolutely because Fatty Caddy linked this part of the video in Discord. So he is responsible for this stream. Grimsbar with a 2 says humans need not apply. Reaction when? I have to check that out on Grimsbar. And I guess type in hot, sexy teenage legs bear. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. All right, let's continue.
Thing is, I decide whether to give him 1 point for artistry or 2. Chaos ensues.
Okay, I think we need honest opinions. You can get 2 in writer. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Thing is, no, I've had agents accept my work. It's not the same. No, it's not the same. That is said with a huge amount of ignorance in regards to the publishing and writing.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
I think this is why a lot of people don't like Shad. He's got such adamant haters online, is because he's so obnoxious and he's always huffing his own farts. So it's very easy to dislike Shad. I guess this is Jazza down here.
It is profoundly ignorant.
Right. But the thing is, we gave him 2 on artist because it's his full-time
This has become a really loaded episode.
I'm not saying
we're not even going to get to play.
I'm not saying
When's suggesting he does good.
Easily at a professional standard.
Yes.
People have commissioned me.
Shad's art is not at a professional standard. I'm sorry, it's not.
I haven't chosen.
Can I say that there are a lot of people who are at a professional standard who can't work as an artist?
Yeah, but we're talking about skill, not, wanting to work.
I know, but like,
Joss, you need to be very honest.
if I'm going to be very honest, I love you. I'd say a point an artist.
Well, no, because then you should get a point least. We have our strengths and weaknesses, and you know what my strengths are in artistry, and I'm easily at a professional standard.
I would be willing to give you 2 points in writer. Put it that way.
Art easily is on 2 points. I'm at a professional standard. You know that.
I'm respectfully disagree.
Your strengths are.
Oh, when you have the family argument in public on a live stream, just leave it at home, boys. Leave it at home. It's going to be so awkward when they go home to see mum.
Expression, easily expression in colour.
Conceding, yes.
But my strengths are anatomy and character.
Wait, hold on. Where's the AI thing? Stop the lies. Where's the anatomy and character is Shad's strengths? Did he some drawings here? Like I hate Shad's anatomy on his characters. They're so weird. Here's one. Here's one. Or is this work by him? I don't know. I mean, this looks like what someone comes up with in like high school. And there's some amazing high school artists, but like this is when you're like doodling in the back of the classroom when you're not paying attention to math or something. So him say that his anatomy is like professional level is absolute. It's just stupid.
Absolutely, you're a skilled artist. That's good.
It's a point of reference.
How applicable is this to zombie apocalypse in fact? Whatever, have 2 points on each other. All right. It's okay if someone needs to join the group and they need their. No. They will only be persuaded by an artist writer.
So you're just giving it to me to try and satisfy me?
Somewhat, because you won't stop arguing. So it's okay. Because it's actually not supposed to be you who decides the outcome, but you're not letting that happen.
So Jazz is not only more successful, more attractive, bigger YouTube channel, more views. He's also more reasonable than Shad because he's obviously had to live with him his entire life, and he knows that sometimes you just have to make compromises to get things to work. Shad absolutely refuses to compromise on giving him 2 points in artistry. It's so funny. Jazz is just he's actually the Shadiversity. It's so funny.
I'm just being honest, like camera pros.
Your strengths are definitely in character expression, on facial expressions, and also in colouring and stuff like that. But the anatomy side of things.
Which one is older? Shad, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty close in age. Shad's like 39, right? Or is he a little bit? Is he 40 or something? I thought he was 39. His brother can't be that much. Like usually, brothers are only a couple years apart.
I think I do. Really
Not all the time. But...
Yeah, I agree.
Anatomy.
I guess in terms of
proportion specifically,
we don't need to sit on this. We really don't. We can talk about this on the drive home. It's not applicable. We should play a game. This is not entertaining.
How's your battery doing? I'm sure people actually find it incredibly entertaining.
Leave your comments in the section. Oh my god, this is awkward.
No, Shad is not 34. I don't believe you.
Now, I would ask someone, which artist did it copy to be able to produce this? I mean, if you're looking at, it's not duplicating, but the main thing it copied were images of me because I told it to. Okay, this is me telling it to you, and then warping, molding kind of that reference into artistic styles that I'm asking it to be able to reference, just like what real art.
All right, let's find out. We'll use AI to find out the answer to this. All right, we'll go back to Twitter and ask Grok. We still need a slur for people that use that ask Grok for everything. Let's see. How old is Shadiversity? And how old is Jazza, his brother? Let's see what Grok has to say about those. I feel sure that Shad was like 39. Let's see. So Josiah Allen Brooks, known as Jazza, was born on April 20th. Isn't that like 420? 1986. Sorry, 1989, making him 36 years old. Shad was born. I doesn't know how old Shad is, but he says he's 38 to 34. So the age gap is 1 to 5. Surely somebody knows how old Shad is. Surely somebody knows. I don't use Grok for everything, but it's actually very useful for asking simple questions, but you do always need to verify it. And like, but if you just want to ask like for a recipe or something, or like how old is a certain character, or what is the name of a movie, that's what AI is really good for. Like if you are thinking of a movie that you saw, you can't remember the name, just type in the description and the AI will eventually be able to find it. I was able to use that to find a really fun game that's called, I think it's Ib and Ob. Let me see. Ib and Ob game. This is a really fun game. So Ib and Ob is like, it's a really good like co-op game. So Ib and Ob is like, you're one of these two little characters. And I played this game at like a bar. There's a bar and apparently he's 38. Yeah, I thought he was 39. But like one of these characters is like tall, one of them is short. And you can go like, there's like these different levels and it's like reflected. So one character has to go underground and one has to go above ground sort of thing. And one person go through black rooms and one person go through white rooms sort of thing. So you need to work together. And this is a really, really fun game. And I couldn't remember the name of it. So then I was like, using AI, like, what is the name where it's like, what is the game with a puzzle platformer where there's one orange character and there's a tall pink character and you go through puzzles and there's like opposites and things like that. And eventually I was able to find the name of this game. And it's a fantastic game. I definitely recommend this one. Very fun, simple fun. Better get that off the screen. There we go. All right, back to this video where he's making his own punish Shad memes.
The main thing it copied from were the painters who actually put their effort into the work the model was trained from. You're asking an AI to take other people's works and mold it into what it would have looked like if they worked on the image, all while taking credit for the entire thing as if you were the one that knows how to actually do that. Real artists take the time to learn the actual techniques themselves, not just lift it off others.
This is true, but like, again, it's kind of cringe that Shad takes credit for it. But saying that it's like stealing someone's art style to generate these images of Shad that they never would have generated anyway is not the same as theft.
Sometimes he even puts his own signature on it. This being despite the fact that he would not be able to do this without a model trained from other people. At the very least, I can give him credit for being upfront about the fact he made this with AI, which is a heck of a lot more transparency than I usually see coming from the AI art crowd.
Let's see, this is why AI generated content needs to be labeled. They wanted us segregated. They wanted us labeled. Forced watermarks. Ban AI art from this sub. They still do. That's, holy shit, that's cringe.
One of the things I'm concerned about is a lot of people are saying, well, I'm an AI artist.
Is this another Shadiversity? Is this like Timu Shadiversity? Who's this guy? Who is this like another of the Shed brothers or something?
Because I'm putting in the prompts. Again, intelligent people can disagree, but let me show you something. This right here is the beautiful art by Ben McSweeney of the axe hounds from the Stormlight Archive, right? Now, I came up with the idea for this artwork. I went to Ben and I said, I want it to look like this, X, Y, and Z. And he came back with some sketches and I said, change this, be better at this. And I pushed him pretty hard. It's one of the pieces that I specifically art directed myself. And at the end, we have that gorgeous piece from Shalon's sketchbook.
This is Brandon Sanderson, the guy that make the, is this the Mistborn guy? Is that who it is?
From Roshar, the creatures I've come up with, but I pushed and Ben drew. I would never put my name as the artist on this piece of art. This is Ben McSweeney's art. He did the art. Now, I gave him the prompt. Yes, I asked for it. I commissioned it. I pushed him on it, but it's his art.
If it's available.
So apparently, Brandon Sanderson's very nice. And I know this because I didn't read his books for a very long time because when I was in university, my girlfriend really loved his books. And she wrote a fan mail to him and he responded. And then she was trying to tell me what a great author he was and how his books are so interesting. And because of that, I decided not to read them for years. And I only started reading them like last year, basically. I think it was like 6 months or a year ago or something. And I read through. They're actually really good books. But yeah, he's apparently a very nice guy. So sorry to call him Discount Shadiversity, because he's actually very accomplished and nice guy. Although, wait, he didn't do the Wheel of Time, right? No, that I think he did one of the books. Like he like came in to finish it or something like that.
To be seen by the public. There are
He didn't steal my girl. He didn't steal my girl. He just responded to her letter. Okay, but I was still a little bit jealous of him, being honest.
Precedents for people to, take inspiration from it, use it in certain ways, and yes, copy it in multiple different ways, legally allowed to copy it. Now, what is a copy? Because when you copy, you can copy something, just its composition and change the coloring, change the artistic style and everything like that. It's still a type of copying, but it's not a direct duplication. And there are actually very clear protections to be able to copy and use copyrighted images under fair use laws. I'll talk about those more in a second, but I think it's interesting that a lot of the outspoken critics of AI art brush over fair use, and they say that's not an area they're experienced in, so they can't comment on it. They comment a lot on areas in which they would assumedly be as equally inexperienced in. So yes, fair use has a very big role to play in regards to the ethics of how AI art learns art and produces.
It's about ethics and gooning to Supergirl pictures, guys. That's what it's about.
Art.
Fair use is one of the primary defenses AA artists bring up when defending the fact their models train off of other artists for free. Fair use does allow for the limited.
All right, I think we know enough about fair use. I'm going to skip over this part. Listen, what the fuck? How long does this go for? 38. It's like 5 minutes of reading the fair use article. That's too long. Needs to engage in a bit of editorializing it.
Artist they're talking about replacing real people with a pirated version of their own professional work. The money that would have rightfully gone to a real artist instead gets diverted to an AI company that simply trained off their
wait, what? Okay, we missed something here. We missed something here in the fair use. I think it's when the text changes from white to red. We'll go back. We'll skip to here. Oh wait, here we go. This red text seems important. We'll check this part out.
Than using a factual work.
All right, the nature of the copyrighted work, the factor analysis to the degree in which the work that was used relates to the copyright purposes of encouraging and creative expression. Thus, using more creative or imaginative work, such as a novel, movie, or song, is less likely to support the claim of fair use than using a factual work.
Such as a technical article or news item. In addition, use of an unpublished work is less likely to be considered fair. Using people's artwork is less likely to be considered fair use than if they were just reporting facts.
But this is, I remember this case. This is one where the judge basically said in this case that the artist did not bring enough to prove that their work was being plagiarized, but this is not a conclusive or final ruling on the topic of fair use in AI art.
This next section is the strongest defense of AI art. Amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. Under this factor, courts look at both the quantity and quality of the copyrighted material that was used. If the use includes a large portion of the copyrighted work, fair use is less likely to be found. If the use employs only a small amount of copyrighted material, fair use is more likely. That said, some courts have found use of an entire work to be fair under certain circumstances. And in other contexts, using even a small amount of a copyrighted work was determined not to be fair use because the selection was an important part.
This is something that's very tricky for some people, and I have a video about fair use if you're interested about it. But fair use is not a clear and obvious line, and there's a lot of ambiguity and also interpretation for it. So in some cases, things that you would think would be fair use won't be, and vice versa. And it's case by case basis, basically.
Or the heart of the work. The most popular AI...
But it's really not that hard if you actually look through. And like I said, I have a whole video explaining this on my channel. Back from when I used to make
trained
videos.
Off of billions of images made by tens of thousands of different artists. The neural network has to be trained off of a large amount of data to be able to build connections between the ideas inside of them. When someone prompts an image from an AI model, it references all of the images that...
Fair use is different in every country, true, but nobody cares, and the only thing that really matters is America. That's the way it is on the internet. The internet basically follows America's rules. If you don't like that, then you should be American instead.
It was trained off of when it begins generating images. The neural network usually only references a minuscule amount of data from a single artist. This isn't always the case. You can train a model off of just one artist's work, but the models most people use are made from images collected from all over the internet. There is a caveat for this one. When the model's training, it does look at the entire work, so this section isn't 100% in favor of AI companies, but it still does fall in their favor. That section was in the most favor of AI art. This next one, however, is by far in the least favor, and it's the most important one. Effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Here, courts review whether and to what extent the unlicensed use harms the existing or future market for the copyright owner's original work. In assessing this factor, courts consider whether the use is hurting the current market for the original work, for example by displacing sales of the original, and or whether the use could cause substantial harm if it were to become widespread. When people are talking about replacing all artists with AI, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about replacing real people with a pirated version of their own professional work.
This will never happen. There will always be artists because people enjoy making art. Some people only enjoy making art for the purposes of profit, and those people maybe disappear, or maybe they'll have to segue into some other sort of industry. But just because tractors are invented doesn't mean that people don't have gardens. People don't grow food. People don't do things by hand. People actively seek out these more natural, like holistic, organics, things like that, or like they don't want to just go to McDonald's and get the mass-produced slop that is actually, I think machines are taking over most of the jobs at McDonald's these days, which it should, honestly. No one really has to work at McDonald's, but people will still go out to those handcrafted, like omakase, or cook things at your table, or just sit behind in a kitchen, because people like that aspect of the human touch. There'll always be a market for that. And I think that's what a lot of these people that are afraid of losing their jobs to AI are really concerned about and don't seem to realize, is that there will always be a place for these sort of people that really, take their art seriously. But it'll be a different world, and it'll probably be a better world, because the world with tractors that replaced everyone that used to be 90% of all workers were working on farms. The world is better after that. And I guess some people might argue that's not the case, but it is. But new jobs will exist, and we don't know what those jobs will be. And it's one of the things you just have to wait and find out about, I suppose. But I don't think anyone's really clamoring to really go back to working on farms all day, every day, except for the real, like, return to monkey people. But that's not, you don't actually want that.
The money that would have rightfully gone to a real artist instead gets diverted to an AI company that simply trained off their work for free, and for that reason can offer a rate so far below one of an artist it can't even be compared.
Why does an artist rightfully deserve money? This is an incorrect opinion. And this is, I think, this kind of goes to show what a lot of these people have a problem with AI doing anything, is that they think that they're entitled to something, and they're not. You can certainly sell your work. There's nothing wrong with that. And I hope that they're successful, but you're not entitled to a company's money if they choose a cheaper alternative. If your prices are too high and your quality is not earning those prices, then you have to change your marketing strategy. That's why this is more important than the art, is the marketing. And a lot of these artists that are complaining that their work was going to be stolen, or Coca-Cola's not buying their art anymore, Coca-Cola is probably going to switch to paying less for artists anyway, like from a third world country or something anyway. So they're probably going to lose their jobs even if it wasn't AI, because people just want to make more money. That's the way it is.
Trained off their work for free, and for that reason can offer a rate so far below one of an artist it can't even be compared. If you own a company, why would you pay an expensive artist for their good-looking artwork when you can instead train off their work for free and pretend it's now entirely your work by prompting literally anything?
I mean, good is in the eye of the beholder again.
This is what we mean when we say AI art.
And it doesn't matter, because if you see most corporate art, most company art is not good anyway.
We aren't saying that what AI generates is a direct rip-off copy of someone's art. What we're saying is that it's a direct rip-off copy of their expertise.
There are a lot of people that would actually prefer this.
AI generates as a direct rip-off.
There are a lot of people that would prefer the right to this. I'm one of actually, I don't really care for either of these, but I think my preference is this one, because I like this more. I like this more realistic scale of depth that you see in this one.
Copy of someone's art. What we're saying is that it's a direct rip-off copy of their expertise. Artists sacrifice significant parts of their own lives to be able to dedicate that to learning how to make the best possible art.
You choose to do that for your own pursuits. It goes back to the old story of the candle makers, right? If you spend your entire life studying to be a candle maker, and then they invent the light bulb, it's like, what about the candle makers? Oh no, too bad. You have to innovate. You have to pivot. You have to find ways to make do with what you have. Everybody has to do that, not just artists.
All of this personal sacrifice and hard work stolen from them for free by AI companies who are making money by closing off opportunities from those.
But was it stolen for them? Like, it's kind of like, it's almost like the same as the piracy argument, but it's different in its own ways. But in many cases, these companies that are using AI now to generate art, they weren't willing to pay for the art in the first place. So there's really nothing lost. It's just a perceived loss and something to whine about, which essentially, again, you just have to improve your marketing.
Artists. AI companies are reaping all of the reward from the personal sacrifice of actual artists while paying absolutely nothing back to them. The AI boom has sparked several battles over the legality of AI companies training from everyone, many of which are currently ongoing. During the filming of this video, Anthropic and Meta won on a fair use defense for training their AI models on copyrighted books. Although it might seem at first glance that this settles it, when you actually look at the case in more detail, there are still many pending arguments to be made against AI. In this case, the authors, the plaintiffs, did not argue that the outputs of these AI models could potentially be infringing. The authors in this case only argued that Anthropic and Meta had pirated their books and used it to train their models. They fought against pirated content being used to train their AI models. Any potential outputs of those models were never part of the case. The last section of fair use, which is in regards to its outputs, is weighted significantly heavier than the other factors. Because the
I know this is a joke, but this is actually true as well. Yeah, the Gwyneth Paltrow, was it Gwyneth Paltrow? These candles smell like my vagina. Unironically, very clever marketing, and I only actually know about that because of watching Top Gear, where Jeremy Clarkson stole her idea and has candles that smell like his bollocks.
authors never argued that the AI model's outputs could hurt the market for the original books. The totality of all the factors of fair use together weighed in favor of the AI companies. This is not a ruling that all AI training is fair use. This is only a ruling that the authors did not present the evidence they needed in order to overcome a fair use defense. One of those pieces of evidence needs to show that AI outputs could harm the current market for those authors. Judge Chabria ruling over the Meta case mentioned as such. This ruling does not stand for the proposition that Meta's use of copyrighted...
I'm going to skip over this fair use thing because I kind of already know about this and it's not that interesting to the actual video. Let's get to this part.
Wholesale with AI does not benefit society for the sole reason that there will be no incentive to actually learn traditional art skills in order to keep innovation happening both with art in general and for the training data that's fed to these models. You still need professional artists to train off.
Demonstrating Bob Ross's happy life. You know, apparently every episode of Bob's Ross, like Paints, was filmed in one day. They filmed everything in one go. And then it was edited into every different video, which is kind of crazy. I never actually really saw those videos, but obviously I know about it.
Of in order to get good looking results. That information doesn't just come from nowhere. People are going to find the best art and follow the people that can make it. If all of your creative abilities amount to prompting AI, you will be drowned out by the torrent of other people's AI generated artwork flooding the market. AI's ease of use in...
And this is an issue with the search engines though. More so than of course they're going to flood the market. People are going to try and find new ways to make money and new ways to innovate and new ways to sell things. This does annoy me, by the way. Like, I hate seeing like animal video or animal pages with fake animals and things like that. Baby peacock, obviously they don't look like that. This is the only real baby peacock over here. But again, this is kind of an issue with like search engines not updating to deal with the modern world because nobody really wants to see these fake baby peacocks. They're kind of cute, you know, kind of like nice to share on Facebook, but not very useful for if you were searching for an actual baby peacock for whatever reason.
Instant outputs will be its main downfall. If all you do is prompt with AI, you will always be associated with spam content. Whatever prompt you think looks good.
Not necessarily. Like I said, if you have a model or a style of using AI art that looks close enough to a real style and nobody can tell the difference, you never tell anyone, literally it won't matter.
There are content farms out there prompting thousands of pieces a day that have been doing it for longer that probably look better that will drown you out of actually being discovered. There are always people looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, and this is just the next one. Right now, tens of thousands of people are jumping on the ad revenue gold rush train by posting AI-generated videos and art they didn't actually have to put any effort into creating.
I hate these videos. I don't get them anymore because I don't click on them, and I told YouTube that I don't like these videos. But these like make $10,000 a month by Alec. If you could actually make $10,000 a month using making AI art, then he wouldn't be making a YouTube video about how to do it. He'd just be doing that. This is how you know it's a scam. When any of these things like, you could make $10,000 a day. Well, like, why aren't you making $10,000 a day instead of sharing these tools, right? Like his video, he made 53,000 views over 5 months ago. What, he made like $50 on this video. Why wouldn't you just spend all your time making $9,000 a month? That's how you know it's fake. It's so stupid.
This will make it impossible to actually get noticed if all you can do is what they're already doing. Posting
This is a good example of when people say during a gold rush, sell shovels, don't mine gold. This is what these people are doing.
AI-generated video will be like posting a bog-standard Minecraft Let's Play on YouTube and expecting people to be mesmerized by your boring gameplay every time. You need to actually have something special.
The thing is, people do get mesmerized by bog-standard boring gameplay on Minecraft. It happens all the time.
To offer people, and that requires spending the time to build skills, something that using AI will never give you.
It merges it with all these other references to create something new. Okay, I can merge J. Scott Campbell's style with Artgerm Stanley Blue's style, Lau, I think, and make something new. Okay, it's me doing it using the tool, the AI. All right, I'm prompting it and choosing to do that because that is my right as an artist that all artists have done for hundreds of thousands of years. And here it is. This is my original sketch. Okay, I drew this myself, a piece of art that I never would have made if I wasn't using AI art. AI art has reinvigorated my love and passion for creating art to the point where I'm actually drawing more now than I have in years.
Okay, now I don't like AI art anymore because it's invigorating Shad to do more of these creepy, uncanny valley doll type stick figures.
because I have this tool to make it even further, far beyond I would ever have the time or commitment to achieve myself, because art is a hobby, not a career. I like to draw to try and visualize things, but not draw for the sense of becoming the best I possibly could.
Well, that's a strange thing to say coming from someone that constantly feels the need to remind us how talented of an artist he is. He wants you to think his work is at the level of a professional artist, but he doesn't want to spend the effort to get his work to the level of a professional artist. It's fair to just want to draw as a hobby to see something cool. There's nothing wrong with that. What we have a problem with is the fact that prompting an AI model trained from other artists' work doesn't turn the prompter into the artist. No amount of prompting should allow the prompter to take credit for the art that comes out of the machine. Also, whatever these companies generate shouldn't be allowed to compete with the artist that they're training from without permission. Some of the money these AI companies are making would have otherwise rightfully gone to the people who were being trained off of for free.
Rightfully. It's their money, rightfully. Those artists, they're being robbed. Their rightful money has been stolen by Midjourney and OpenAI. Oh my goodness. Suffer, artists.
Artists trained for years to create their works. Pieces of art with an extreme attention to detail. Pieces of art the artist had to sacrifice parts of their own personal lives to be able to create. These companies are taking that work for free and are now using parts of that work to flood the internet with competing work made with a fraction of the time and effort.
Have a look at the level, because people have seen the final result, the AI generated result, and have said that it copied other people's artwork, specifically ArtGerm or Stanley Lau, because that was one of the references I did, or J. Scott Campbell, okay, that it was somehow copying their stuff to make this, when the primary thing it's copying that I'm telling it to copy is the original piece, to the point where the actual folds in the cloth are the same. You see?
They're not, though. This is the problem with the AI art, is it's very similar, but it's not the same. Like, you have this massive camel toe in this one, where it's like these are not the same folds. They're very similar, don't get me wrong. But this is the problem. This is why if you want something really, if you want something exactly how you imagine it, you have to make it yourself. AI is very good at finding these close results, just like the robots at McDonald's are going to be very close to making a good hamburger. It'll be satisfying. You'll get your money's worth. You'll get it quickly. You'll get it cheaply. And it'll probably be good enough for most people. But if it's not going to be that artisan level quality. And that's the trade-off. You save all this time, you save all this money, but you get slop as a result. And it's okay if you want the slop.
Now, the folds match right down to the exact waves, all right? Like, the pose and composition is exactly the same. So it's baffling to me that people can accuse me of stealing Stanley Lau's art.
The face is completely different, though. The composition is not the same. It's very similar, but it's not. Even like in this one, she's wearing a leotard, and this one she's got like a raised cloth. The faces are just completely different faces. The hair is completely different as well.
And no, this is my art. I specifically made it to copy my art, and then to upgrade it, following certain styles, imitating certain styles to make something new.
Is this an upgrade though? Like, Shad believes that, like, this is a problem with Shad, and why it's probably frustrating a lot of people, because they want to come in here and see AI art bad, or they want to see Shad bad, and they're getting like a little bit of each, and that makes people very frustrated. But it's okay. But this is just like, Shad has this opinion that every time he puts his art into the AI generator, it's upgrading it, and in many cases it looks like worse. I mean, again, I don't like this uncanny valley. He says he's a master proportion, but these seem like completely out of proportion, at least in my opinion.
He keeps telling us about how granular the control he has, but if he really wanted that level of control, he would learn how to draw this for himself. He keeps mentioning how good he is at proportion, so why is he suddenly not interested in learning how to get good at coloring? He's using a hammer that changes everything when he should be training to use a scalpel like everyone else. The entire purpose of this is to give up control to a machine trained off of an artist that actually knows what they're doing. No,
the purpose is to save time and effort at some expense of quality.
Color this yourself like that, you would.
It's a combination of mostly my input with other artistic references, and not just Stanley Lau's and J. Scott Campbell's, because I reference them, but hundreds of pieces of comic book art.
I wouldn't consider this to be Shad's work anymore, just because these look like different people. Like, the dress is the only thing that matches. These are completely different faces, completely different facial structure, completely different hairstyle. They're not the same. So Shad taking like credit for this is pretty cringe in my opinion.
That it's learned from to be able to understand how to do hair in a comic book style, how to do
The
faces.
purpose
in a
is to
comic
own
book style.
Jazza. I guess it's not impossible. I guess it's not impossible. That is very funny. Having those sort of twists is so good in these sort of videos. You love to see it.
To get this result.
The face doesn't
When
even...
it turns out that Shad is the evil brother all along, and there's a good brother out there that's doing better than him, is very funny.
Look remotely close to what he gave it. It's not even looking in the same direction. It made a completely new person. The majority of the piece has been changed from the original. How can he claim that this is his art? This is nothing like using Photoshop to make edits to an image. I'm not even going to talk about these.
And so now we've actually addressed the primary smoking gun evidences for AI stealing other art and being inherently unethical. And like I said,
why aren't I painting on a canvas instead of taking photos then? What do you mean? That's a completely different types of artwork. I do paint, actually. I have a painting hanging up right there. You can't see it, though. But I haven't painted in a very long time.
When I've looked into these specific claims in greater detail and also understanding how AI works, it's all founded on a misunderstanding and misinformation, and it's just not true. In most instances, there's not a legal precedent.
The machine is doing all the work for you? Oh, if you mean the camera? The camera of this argument? Yeah, to a certain degree. But the thing is that singing is not the same as painting. Writing is not the same as photography, and photography is not the same as, I don't know, directing or whatever. The art in all of these different things it's not the same argument at all. Because the important part of photography is the balancing of light, the composition, knowing what you're trying to show, emotions you're trying to convey, and everything like that. You could say that it's very similar to generating it, but it's not.
But ethical precedent for the AI to be trained off of other people's art.
I'd say it's a fairly, I'm sure it would convince some people.
Available to be seen, because just like you can take someone else's art, put it into Photoshop and warp transform and do interesting creative things to it to make something new and that's transformed enough for it to be fair use, or to have a reference file, or to imitate certain poses in your own art, you can choose to do that with AI art like Stable Diffusion, just like I can choose to do it with Photoshop. It's a direct precedence where you're allowed to use new technological tools to imitate and to copy in certain ways, and use them in commercial endeavors in a transformative way.
He really wants you to be okay with the concept of billion-dollar companies profiting from everyone else's work for free. He's like a reverse Robin Hood. He really hammers down on the sections of fair use like transformation while just completely glossing over the ones that are actual problems for AI art generators. His perfect world is to just allow AI companies to freely profit from the personal sacrifice of everyone else. Where's the incentive to actually learn anything anymore? I grew up with the belief that if
it's very easy to prevent people from stealing your art. You just sell it locally, or you sell it like on commission basis. It's super easy to do it. Now you don't get the same exposure, you don't get the same attention, but it's one trick that the AI art companies hate is if you just don't put your stuff online for free likes.
If someone puts a lot of effort into learning skills that benefit society, they should be rewarded for that. Why would someone spend time learning art skills when they can instead train a model off an actual artist, prompt anything, and outcompete the original artist using an infinite list of their own stolen skills?
Because they might enjoy it.
He didn't put in any of the work, but he still feels like he deserves all of the reward. Do you not see how totally one?
All right, hold on. For some reason, YouTube isn't displaying these as a super chat anymore. That's kind of weird. $5 from Dave says, AI art versus artists is the same discussion as anything mass-produced versus something custom/handmade. I mostly agree with this. Often AI art is good enough for most purposes. I do agree with that. I agree with that second part entirely. They're very similar. And I do make this comparison a lot, like the McDonald's versus the artisan restaurant sort of thing. There's a couple differences, but essentially, yes.
One-sided this relationship is, this really highlights one of the most enraging beliefs I see going around in pro-AI circles. They actually believe that the artists, the people that they're training from, are suckers that are going to be left behind because of this new technology. They look at...
I mean, many people are. Many people that have been able to grift an existence, and I say grift in the nicest of ways, by selling $5 commissions on Twitter for the last 5 years are going to be out of the job, especially the people that spent money making personas and things like that. They're shit out of luck. And, the majority of artists are doing small commissions, I would imagine. There's obviously some corporate artists that do advertising and things like that. And there's, famous painters and things like that. They're going to be just fine. But yeah, the small people that are maybe trying to make a couple bucks on Fiverr or something, yes, they're going to be left behind by this. And they need to adapt, and they need to innovate, and they have to pivot, just like everybody has to do that when new technology is invented.
The stolen skills of an artist, then they turn around and tell that exact artist that society no longer needs them.
And I'll be more interested in discussing it with the more vocal critics of AI who've been spouting this type of stuff. And honestly, it's founded a lot on misinformation, okay? Just falsehood things it's not the reality of how this is. But one of the additional kind of talking points is that, which is, I think, ridiculous, honestly, is that the companies need to compensate artists to use their art to train the AI.
I have been compensated by a AI company for my regular portfolio that I've uploaded. They wanted to train off of my data, and I said yes, and they paid me for it. So they actually companies do this. A lot of artists on Twitter will tell you that this never happens, but that's just not true. Let me see. I was looking for something. People have artist fatigue. That's very funny. People steal my memes all the time and repost them, but I'm just happy people like my retarded work. I think that's when you get the real joy in life, right? Missing. I was looking for some comment. I can't find it.
If in the same way, like they're selling their art, a direct copy of their art, and therefore the original needs to be compensated. First of all, you don't need to compensate the original artist if your copy version is transformative and it's remade to be something new, different, or different enough. No compensation is needed in that. And most arts that, like, again, which in the vast majority of cases, the art is very different to any one composition that you can find, and even the examples where they find it's like
Shad's kind of lying a little bit here, because you can actually specifically ask models to, make an artist in the style of Ghibli, for example.
They've copied a composition, it's easily different enough to qualify for fair use.
It doesn't matter how transformative any of the results are. It could be the most transformative piece on Earth, but it would still fail the other conditions, which at this rate, it is likely to by a large margin. These AI companies are collecting money from software built exclusively from the money and effort ordinary people spent to make their art. These AI companies did not spend a dime to make the art. Let's be real here.
They spent millions of dollars developing the tools, though. Maybe they trained their models for free. In some cases, in my case, they didn't. But in some cases, yes. But they spend millions of dollars in development making the program itself.
AI companies are competing with the artists they're training from.
It's not
companies
just for
are looking
free.
at the money it would,
and then they have to pay for all the training resources, electricity, server costs, things like that. The idea that it just comes out of nothing is, frankly, just false.
take to hire an artist, and the money it would take to prompt a model trained from their work for free, and some of them are choosing the free method. The only reason that these AI companies can offer these results so cheap.
Yeah, this is, I believe, the McDonald's. Sorry, McDonald's. What am I saying? Coca-Cola. The holiday magic is coming, and this was all generated by AI, and people got really fucking mad about this on Twitter. And Coca-Cola just continued to sell Coca-Cola, and they're still making billions of dollars a year.
Because they offload all the sacrifice and work to people that they're now ripping off for free. It is absolutely in their power to pay the artist for the training data, but then that would mean they would have to raise the rates they're offering to people while not profiting from any of that. These are rules that were specifically designed to be vague in order to give artists the most creative freedom. Companies are taking advantage of this in order to push up right against the line of what could be considered legal and taking all of that money that would have otherwise gone to those artists to support their craft.
An unfortunate thing about the law is that sometimes the law doesn't just change based on your feelings, and when it starts affecting you and it starts affecting your livelihood, the same laws that you use as an artist, yes, are going to be used by companies to make money. Sorry, equal lefts, equal rights. That's how it works.
Every single argument he makes is in support of these billion-dollar AI companies and in complete ignorance of the lost opportunities of the artists that the models were trained from.
How would you legislate this anyway? Because eventually, and even now, there are people that are able to use AI prompts to generate art that you cannot tell is AI. They just remove the yellow piss filter and nobody can tell the difference. How are you going to find out whether these people are using these? Because you can download these models and upload them to your computer and your own servers and things like that. So you don't need these companies once the models are released, or if you have like a pirated version of it. I mean, Shad has his own local copy, I believe, of Stable Diffusion. Because if you look at these videos, he's using a local IP address. How do you find out? Trust me, bro. You're going to have to start recording your entire art process. It's not going to happen. If you want to enjoy these protections of fair use that artists need to have, and I do think that fair use rules are pretty good, then unfortunately, this is just one of the side effects, is that companies are also going to use it to make money.
Companies are using this technology to, instead of rewarding someone for their skills, steal it from them for free. AI-generated advertisements are showing up all over the place. Do you know why that is?
Who cares? Oh no, Chicago. Chicago's got the piss filter billboards. Oh, suffer Chicago.
It's sure as hell not because it looks better than a real artist. It's because it's cheaper. AI companies can charge a fraction of the price that it would have otherwise taken to use the artist's work. Do you know why they're able to do that? Because they put no effort in to actually make it. They didn't need to build any skills. They didn't need to learn the rules of art. They just stole it from the people who sacrificed parts of their own personal lives to be able to do that. Why not just steal everything from actual talented people and pretend you made it? Why not just ignore learning skills when you can fill it in with other people's stolen skills instead? Just train off someone else's work for free, do the lowest quality changes, and post it. Make money from it. Sell it to other people for cheap and undercut the artist that would have otherwise been rightfully rewarded for their work. The excuse...
I mean, you're making a pretty good argument for just stealing people's content. I definitely agree with that. Just joking, obviously. But yeah, this is the way that markets have always worked. When somebody finds a new innovation, they capitalize it, they flood the market with it, and then the market adapts. Just the way it is. Dave with another 5 says, I used to make good money building websites. Now anyone can make a website with square Wix. I had to accept those days were over and pivot. Yes, exactly. This is what you have to do. And like I said, most of it's more important is marketing than anything else. Like you should be maybe telling people how to build the websites now. Like start selling the shovels instead of mining for the gold is what you need to do.
That someone can become an AI artist to combat this doesn't really matter all that much when the average person cannot tell the difference between an AI-generated post that took time to make and one that did not. The reward that would have gone to an artist for developing their skills instead gets diverted to a corporate company that stole their work and to goobers like this guy who suddenly don't really feel like learning any skills anymore. They can just prompt it from real artists and take all the credit for that instead. He tells them it's fine that companies are stealing from them for free and competing against them, and that they should just get over it because it's fair use, even though there is a very much solid case that it is not.
I mean, yeah, you got to test in the courts then. Test it in the courts. See what they say.
Yeah, AI should be able to be used to make money. Okay, I've got some great examples where I'm using AI art to benefit myself in a commercial way, which is brilliant. Okay, it's opened up access and ability to high quality art.
I think specifically what he's talking about here is that he used AI art to generate landscapes in the background of the cover art and things like that in his books. So I wouldn't. He's he's kind of selling himself up here. Like he's making money from the story of content, like the words on the page, not the cover or in cover of the book. But yeah, in some small way, he has used AI art in his own works of fiction.
For anyone who has access to this technology is able to do that, which is one of the greater benefits that I don't see critics acknowledging well enough. Okay,
it's opened up access and ability for people who don't really feel like putting any effort into learning anything. I'm noticing that the only thing he uses AI art for is to avoid learning the skills that he's relying on in order to generate these pieces. If you were actually interested in being an artist and making the highest quality art, you would learn these techniques yourself. You wouldn't rely on software to suck up all the work from everyone else.
They focus on the fact that
no, like everyone has to make their own cost and benefit analysis and decide how they're going to mete out their time. And in a lot of people's cases, art is very time consuming, and it's a great alternative to just generate something very quickly. Now, I still think, like I said, if you want that really bespoke artisan piece of work, you should probably get a human to do it, because humans are just better at interpreting what they want to make. Like how could, oh look, uncivil law, he says, this is an interesting topic on legal. Yes, it is. How would you feel, Kurt, if somebody started generating their own cooking videos, making casseroles and things? Would you be out of the job? We got to see some more Kurt cooking sometime. Kurt probably doesn't even know what we're talking about. He doesn't know that there's like an underground fan base for his casseroles and things. His sausage casserole, whatever, pizza casserole. Is that what it is? I don't know. I've been out of the game for a while.
That will take people's jobs. One, ignoring the fact that it'll create a new industry with new jobs, and the people will be able to, get those.
We're just going to go through this video tonight. I don't want to make this a much more long than it's going to be. It's probably going to be another hour as it is, because we've still got another 30 minutes. But thank you. If we do have a discussion of the legal analysis, I will definitely invite you on in the future. Although I feel like the current fair use laws kind of cover it well enough, but I guess it will be tested in the not too distant future.
Occupations will be the artists who choose to embrace AI and use it for their benefit to enhance their art beyond their own ability.
This is truly one of the most baffling things he believes. With other revolutions like robotics, we were always given the excuse that it will create jobs for other people, like for those maintaining the machines.
It literally did make jobs for other people, but not in the same way. Not in the robotics industry, but it freed up time and labor and effort that people could work into different industries. This is exactly what happened when tractors invented, and 90% of the workforce was out of employment.
This is one of the first technological revolutions where that's very obviously not going to happen. AI companies absolutely will not be opening as many job opportunities as they will be taking.
But, I mean, this is exactly what people said, though, when the tractor was invented. 90% of the people immediately out of work. It's like they couldn't imagine the office jobs. You don't know what it's going to be like until you go into the other side. And yeah, a lot of people will be out of work, but a lot of new jobs will be created, and maybe they'll be better, maybe they'll be worse. We'll have to wait and see.
Would anyone hire?
But saying there'll be like no jobs created is just a lack of imagination. And personally, I think that a lot of people are good. Like, there's an interesting documentary I watched, kind of a YouTube documentary. It's called "We'll Work for Free," and it's about how every aspect and every sector in life can be replaced by machines or AI, and what a future might look like after we've developed that much. And it's very interesting. I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it.
an AI artist when these models are already capable of doing the corrections that he thinks someone would need to hire an AI artist for? Let's quantify this. What part of this does Shad think he deserves to be paid for? The basic Photoshop edits? AI models can do that for free already. His prompting skills? AI models can do that too. His artistic eye? I can guarantee you that he isn't developing one beyond what he has now by relying on AI this heavily.
I don't think that Shad has actually asked for money for his actual AI art pieces. He's just used it as like background art in some of his books. So it's not exactly like he's asking for people to pay for his Guna Supergirl pics or anything like that. He just seems to be generating it for the love of the game. So he can spend 8 hours looking at the meaty thighs or whatever.
Valuable as a prompt engineer when anyone can be one with a 10-minute YouTube tutorial. Nobody is looking at AI art in hopes of spending more money on artists. I cannot believe I have to spell this out for him, but apparently I do. Companies are looking at AI so they can train off of artists for free in order to have the same level of work without having to pay those people. That is the purpose of AI art. That's the problem we have with it. By making the statement that the average person will be making more money by being an AI artist, he is literally missing the entire point of AI. Like, seriously, why would anyone hire an AI artist? If someone's already fine with using AI, they just prompt some things themselves until they're happy with the result.
Yeah, good argument.
Any sufficiently advanced AI model will be able to get something close enough to what the prompter wants in order to not have to hire anyone. If they're choosing to pay someone for art, then they just commission an artist. Paying someone to generate AI art for you is quite literally the worst of both worlds.
This is very funny, by the way, because all the people that are really going hard on saying that they're AI art engineers or they're AI art prompters or whatever, they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Wasting money on something that they could have generated themselves for free. Getting people to sit down and pay attention to your art is already hard. I don't know if you've noticed, but people tend to not respect AI art. They usually don't see it as a new thing to enjoy. They see it as a waste of their time. People want to filter out AI-generated content from their feeds. Paying to have AI-generated art made for you doesn't mean that people will want to look at it any more than anyone else's AI-generated art.
But here's the thing, you don't label it as AI art. You just make something and people like it or they don't like it. And if they like it, you don't have to tell them it's AI. If you get away with it, like... ultimately, people don't care because, like I said it much earlier in the stream, people enjoy the product, not the process.
And since it's so easy for anyone to generate art, it will get lost in the algorithmic flood of everyone else's. Nobody under any circumstance should ever pay real money for an AI-generated image. It's quite literally a valueless image. Anyone that spends money on an AI-generated image, in my view, is a victim to a scammer. They could have just generated that thing themselves for free. Not only is Shad using other people's work as a replacement for developing his own, he's now attempting to justify selling that work and outcompeting those very artists using a fraction of the time, effort, or skill otherwise required. That lets him offer a much lower price than an actual artist. What he's doing is he's undercutting the very artist he's trained from by not having made the personal sacrifices to learn art himself. This is not a sustainable market for artists, especially when those models are trained from their work without permission.
I guess the argument here is it's going to go on to say that real artists will be driven out of the market because they won't be able to compete with AI generated things, and then there'll be no artists, and then the art will all stagnate and everything will go to shit. Yeah, that might happen. But then here's the thing: if that does happen, and all the artists disappear, and it's just like this one AI model that's producing the same things over and over and over, then that actually creates a new market where artists can come in and produce something new that hasn't been seen before or hasn't been used in a long time. And they can capitalize on that and make a lot of money from it. And yeah, then the AI will start copying them, and they'll have to adapt again or change the thing. But the thing is, the AI will always be catching up. It'll always be following. It'll never be producing well, maybe it will produce the new stuff. Maybe people like it, maybe they won't. But this is, I think, was the argument he's trying to make, is that it's going to all be reduced to the same slop, and there'll be no artists left, and they'll all go extinct. But that's just not how it works. They'll be moved out. Maybe they'll be displaced, but then you can come along and you can make something that people haven't seen in a long time because they're so used to their AI slop that you'll be able to make such a splash that you'll be able to have this entire new market to yourself. And then again, you have to keep. It's like an arms race essentially. Chill Station says, just got here. I'm gonna have to catch the replay, but suffer artists. Thank you very much. Yes.
It's a great one for the AI companies, though. They get to offload all the personal sacrifice of having to learn art off to other people, all while collecting all the money from their effort and leaving the artist with no market. All of that money will just so happen to end up in the hands of billion-dollar AI corporations.
I'm doing that already, and I've been seeing benefits. I am an artist. Am I a great artist? I'll leave other people to decide that. I think I'm middling at best, but I am most certainly a more professional standard writer, and I'm very excited and interested to use AI text generating programs to improve the quality of my writing. Yeah.
It's actually a lot easier to pass off, well, not necessarily, but it's a lot easier to kind of trick people into reading AI generated stuff, because with pictures, there's kind of AIs at the moment got a very kind of classical AI look. Not classical, but very distinct. The piss filter, the shiny over light images. Like, it's very easy to recognize at the moment, but it may not be in the future. But with text, people can be reading something and all the characters look the same. So you have to actually read the content. So it's a lot easier to trick people with AI writing, in my opinion.
Absolutely. If it can produce a better result to my fans and customers, so to me, that's a win-win, and I don't lose a job because I'm using it to benefit.
Hey, I have a question. If there's a better way to write something, why don't you write it that way? By relying on ChatGPT to do parts of the writing for you, you forego learning what makes parts of writing good. I don't want...
Shad actually said earlier in the video, though, that he enjoys the writing process more. Then that's why he doesn't want AI to do it. But he will be using AI to maybe generate prompts or something.
I want to hear what ChatGPT says about something. I want to hear the writer.
An interesting point that I think a lot of artists maybe perhaps either don't acknowledge, realize, and might not be the same for everyone, but they don't actually enjoy the act of drawing, painting, or illustrating. Otherwise, why aren't they doing nothing but drawing straight lines on a paper? Or why don't they love painting the walls of a house as much as...
Some people do. Like, I mean, I don't know what Shad's trying to say here.
When they paint something, what they actually love, and this is what I discovered for myself, it's the act of creation that I love.
Right.
Not necessarily. Some people just love drawing and they love the pencil on the page and things like that, or rolling the paint over the wall. This is Shad's kind of being a little bit obtuse here by using his own point of view.
So this is one of the most insane takes I hear from them, and that's saying something. I'm sorry. Do you think if someone actually likes to draw that they'll have fun drawing straight lines all day? People like drawing because they get to use the skills they've gained. This is the fundamental disconnect between AI artists and real ones. Real artists actually spend the time to learn their craft to be able to create the things that they can. I'm not just talking about 10 minutes on a YouTube tutorial. I'm talking about people who spent tens of thousands of hours honing their craft to be the best artist that they can. Do you really think someone could do that if they didn't fundamentally enjoy some part of that process? It took Da Vinci 4 years to paint the Mona Lisa. I don't think anything communicates to me more that you don't actually care about learning anything about creating.
Do you think Da Vinci like really enjoyed spending 4 years painting it, or is he just like... I'm sorry. I think that probably all of the really great artists in life probably were mentally ill, and that's why they were so good. It's because they did nothing but focus on these things. Maybe there was just nothing else to do back then. Maybe that's why all the news... Maybe that's why we just keep responding. We keep redoing the same movies every 5 years or whatever. Because everyone's got too much shit to do now. There's too much distractions. Maybe there was no distractions back then. But I don't know. I feel like Michelangelo was probably like autistic or some shit, and that's why or Da Vinci was autistic or some shit, and that's why they spent like years working on one piece of art, because they had nothing else they could do. They just had to complete it.
Art. You aren't even interested in that. AI artists are so concerned with getting a final product now that they don't even think about the techniques with which these images are actually constructed.
Apparently, it was commissioned. Okay, well there you go. I'm showing my Luddite level out quite a lot tonight.
But they're just prompting based off nothing but vibes and how the last image they happen to randomly generate looks, shuffling other people's ideas and techniques around with no concept of how the underlying art is actually made for real. I agree that real artists will be able to make the best art, but not because they'll be able to make the best AI art. It's because that's who the model was trained from.
People are still going to draw with pencils. They're still going to paint with brushes because they enjoy it. Okay, the satisfaction of doing something with tools that are more difficult, okay, still there. People like to do things that are difficult for the satisfaction and achievement of doing it. That
is absolutely true, but it seems to be completely counter to what Shab was saying before.
Will always exist.
Yeah, it's a heck of a lot harder to learn how to make good art than it is to just steal from the people that have.
The professional world and those who are producing artwork in a professional capacity for money and stuff like that, yeah, people using AI will be outcompeting a lot of people, okay? And so there will be jobs lost, but you could have been the ones to get those new jobs because you can produce the best quality AI art if you have artistic talent.
People using AI will be outcompeting a lot of people because they're freely stealing art from more talented artists. How do you not see this? The reason someone would use AI art in this way is because they don't have the artistic talents and they aren't interested in learning them. Jobs will be lost because why hire someone with skills when you can just train off of their work for free and pretend like that's the same thing as inspiration?
It happens more than you might think, where people say, how dare you promote AI art? Again, it's founded on a place that I understand. They've been convinced by the fearmongers out there that are misrepresenting the facts that there is something inherently unethical and wrong about AI art, and that's inherently stealing other people's work. And that's the comments that happen where...
It's so strange too when you think about the ethics argument, because people fundamentally don't care about ethics. And this might sound like a crazy take, but it's true. Like the people that are complaining on Twitter on their iPhones are like, oh my goodness, the ethics of people stealing my art when they're like children and slaves that are mining for their phones in the first place. It's like, oh, it's like the old meme, like you criticize society, but you live in it. Curious. Yeah, I know. But people ultimately really just care about what affects them themselves. And, maybe it shouldn't be like that, but that's the way it is. And these people on Twitter that are the loudest people are just the artists that have the most free time. They don't really care. They really don't care about actual ethics. They care about what affects their bottom line, and that's the problem. So they won't be able to charge people on Fiverr $5 for their furry commissions anymore.
even the videos that I've made, there's been a couple of commenters who say, I thought better of you. You're promoting artistic theft by using AI art and accusing me of being a bad person as a result. That is never going to get the result that people want. Like, people are just going to stop doing. No, it's going to make people who you accuse
This is the most important question of our time, though. What about ethics in video game journalism? Absolutely.
like that think that you're uninformed and also being uncharitable. Like, people who get accused of being wrong and evil for using AI to make new art and stuff like that in perfectly ethical ways, and they're accused of being like doing something wrong, that sounds bigoted to them, and they're not going to look nicely on you, and it's just going to cause more divide.
They're being bigoted towards the clankers, the clanker fuckers. There's actually something like, I think the AI art people are some of the most rabid people that I've seen. There's a really funny situation recently where Markiplier is basically like one of the people on the internet who has basically zero criticism for anything. He's like the internet good guy, He's got no skeletons in his closet, allegedly. He's been around for a long time without any controversies. Basically, everyone that watches his stuff loves him, and he's perceived as a good person. But he's a video game he's like a Let's Player, basically. But he's also doing directing now, I think. I don't really watch his stuff because I don't watch Let's Players. But anyway, he got into a controversy recently because of AI art. He actually was against the use of AI art, I believe. But then he asked Grok or something, or asked ChatGPT to ask something on stream. And then people started saying that he was promoting like this AI art school or something like that. And they tried to cancel him. Like, they just wanted to go after him because they just thought that they're just conditioned to think that like AI equals bad. But then they're totally fine with using AI in any other aspect of their life, just not when it comes down to their bottom line of generating their like furry pictures or whatever.
Perfectly ethical ways to use AI art he's describing is just giving up learning the real techniques and undercutting the artist they're prompting from. I don't think you're evil because you like to play around with AI art. I think you're evil for other reasons, though.
There's been this like
they were being regarded.
I've noticed,
yes.
Not necessarily just on the left, but also perpetuating the world, that it is wrong for you to hold opinions if they upset someone, if it offends someone, right? Because that means you're.
No, I don't think anyone says that.
Yeah, people absolutely believe this. People absolutely believe it's wrong to hold opinions that upset people. Yeah, they're very stupid people. Yes, they're retarded people, but they do believe that on the internet. But people believe anything on the internet as well.
I think it's a misconstruing of what Tumblr logic is, where it's like saying, hey, if you're racist, that kind of sucks, actually. I don't, in theory, disagree with what he's saying. I mean, hey, the truth does hurt. Sometimes you do have to be cruel to be kind. And we should not judge, lest we ourselves be judged as well. But thankfully, since Shad judges all the time, is not kind, and is not nice, and is often wrong, I have no issue judging him in this situation.
It's true. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Absolutely believe that.
If you believe that there are only two genders, that can deeply offend and upset someone. That is a cruel view to have. You're a nasty person for simply holding true to science, opinions of biology.
Well, actually, biologically speaking, there are many people who have different genders aside from the XXXY chromosomes. There are people with 3 chromosomes. There are people who are intersex. That is a physical thing. Intersex is physical. It's not a trans identity. It is a.
I mean, yes, but like when he says many, he means on a scale of billions of people. I think that these sort of chromosome mutations, like 1 in 1,000, they're not by any means common. And it's kind of like a very simple question you can ask is, how many fingers does a human have? And the answer is, well, I guess some people would be cringe and be like, well, 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. But no, the answer is 10. Does that mean that a human can't be born with 11 fingers? No. And that happens quite often. In fact, that happens more often than I believe intersex people are born. But that is a mutation. That's an aberration. It's not what's natural. It's not what's intended. It's just a mutation. And those existing does not invalidate the claim that there are 2 genders.
Physical trait of the human body. So you want to talk biology, we can do that, but I don't think you really want to, because you don't really understand the topic yourself all that much.
And they get deeply offended, and then they will
like these insanely rare what's the phrase? They're exceptions, but they do not disprove the rule.
Judge you as being a nasty person for merely holding an opinion like that, when you don't mean anything malicious by it. That's literally a truth that you believe. And then,
well, Shad, let me ask you a question. It's not so much if you believe it or not, it's why you'd bring it up at all. I don't care what you think about that, personally. I have my beliefs, you have yours. I don't care what you think, because I don't really value your opinion all that much outside of entertainment value on this channel. I wouldn't be watching this stream of yours unless it was for the audience to hear my thoughts on it.
What does this have to do with AI, by the way? Is it just being like, is this when you sneak in something that is it like when you find something you really don't like about someone, then you make the entire video and you hide in this like sneaky little thing to poison the well? Is that what's going on here?
They can lose their mind. And there are multiple examples about this.
Multiple
examples. Your stances on homosexual marriage, and then to climate change, to any number of like these Vaccines. Vaccines.
Yeah, but the problem there is that those opinions actually affect others. If you don't believe in marriage equality and push to remove the equality of others to get married, then you're hurting someone else, aren't you? If you don't vaccinate yourself and you then become a carrier for a disease that can affect someone who's immunocompromised who can't get vaccinated for one reason or another, you're putting that person's life in danger. If you do not believe in, say, any number of things that could have ramifications that hurt other people, like climate change, and you decide to push for something like, say, AI, which has a massive environmental cost, you're going to hurt people. And yeah, they are going to get pissed at you because you suck.
I think he just sees a tool to make good-looking images.
The environmental, I've been hearing people say this, like the environmental cost of AI. I feel like that's like a massive fucking cope. They say the data centers are using up all the water. I don't believe that. I feel like they've just pulled that out of their ass and they're just using it and parroting it.
And it's as simple as that to him. He just shouldn't be calling himself an artist of the same caliber as those the model was trained from. Artists specifically specialize in learning how to make good-looking images. Prompting images with AI won't teach you how to make good-looking images. It will just teach you how to lift it off others. I think the AI companies are evil for stealing work from artists and then using their work to steal their opportunities away from them. I think the people posting AI-generated cartoons pushing bad faith arguments are childish. I just think you're goober.
The people who are the spokesmen pushing out against it, when you actually look into the facts of the matter, they're founded on complete untruth. All right, it doesn't inherently steal. It doesn't copy taking things. I've already made a whole video on that, right? So I don't blame people for thinking it's unethical when they've been fed untruths about this. But the people who have been spreading these falsehoods, I think it's on them. They should have been doing far more research to find out if this is actually true or not. Speak to the developers, speak to people who use AI art to find out. And they say they've heard the arguments, and then they're like I said, I've found certain, spokespeople against AI art being somewhat disingenuous, using very emotionally manipulative language to try and get people to think that there's something inherently wrong with it.
All right, so hold on. What is this? Look up how much the water system, look how much water a system learning AI needs, the more you know. I'm not saying that it doesn't use water. I'm saying that it's insignificant and it doesn't matter. Like, if an AI company uses a lot of power, and I don't think they use that much water or that much power generally, but let's say they use a fuck ton of water and a fuck ton of power. It doesn't matter. And it's no different than saying any business is, it's like, what is a big fucking company? Costco. Like if I say that Costco is using a bunch of fucking water for their, or electricity for their cooling and their refrigerators, it doesn't matter because they're a business and they're obviously getting more profit out of what they're doing than the profit that's taking it in. And if that's what AI companies are doing as well, and they're profitable businesses, they're just a business. And we don't limit any other business for whatever reason. Like, right? We don't just say, hey, you're using too much power. No, you just charge them more for the power. That's how you do it. What is this one? Dave. I missed it. I can't find it. Delete old emails to save water. Hey, look, I always make sure. What about California? Who gives a shit about California? They can suffer. Why don't they just build a city where there's actual fucking water and rain? California. I'm Australian, bro. We sent Californians eucalyptus trees so that they can get full of oil and then burn your state to the ground.
Ignoring counter arguments, like, they're saying that I'm not informed enough to be able to comment on fair use, but suddenly I'm perfectly informed enough.
Yes, Arizona literally does not matter. Arizona does not matter. Suffer Arizona as well.
Comment on all these other things and giving a very uncharitable interpretation of some things, skewing the proportion of other things to ultimately present a really negative picture that has convinced a lot of people. They're not going out thinking, I can't wait to steal people's art. They honestly believe it's perfect, like I do, that there's nothing unethical about using AI art generation programs, okay? They're not trying to ruin someone's day or destroy the artistic community.
I think you're just straight.
It's like, I just had it like in my mind like that, oh boy, I can't wait to go out stealing today. And it's just so fun.
Up ignoring how much damage this technology could cause to the art community. Let's say you're a company interested in purchasing some art for, say, advertising. Why would you purchase an artist's work or even hire anyone when you can instead give an AI company $20 and have access to every single artist style and work without their permission? You can even have a model perfectly replicate a specific artist style by training off their work. This isn't supporting creativity. This is supporting piracy.
That one, they don't really know how much work sometimes it takes to produce a really high quality professional standard piece of work from AI art. They must be completely ignorant of that because sometimes it takes hours of work and artistic input to be able to produce great results. I've shown some direct examples right here.
Is he like training his art on all his family members or something? Is that why he has like a consistent face? It's kind of weird.
I see literally no purpose in spending more than 5 minutes AI generating something you want. If it takes you longer than that, I don't think you're suddenly an artist. I think you just don't know how to properly use your AI tools.
Yeah,
the entire purpose of this is that it's instant and takes no skill. If you are interested in learning skills and spending time on art, do it the traditional way like everyone else. That means you have to learn the rules of art.
And so it's certainly not a simple click cheating. And if it is cheating, right, which it's not, but so photography is cheating. Right? Like, is photography an art form? You're stealing, capturing an image of the real world.
You're also capturing someone's soul when you take their photo as well. That's important to remember.
And stolen in time forever for people to look at it. Like, there's equivalence that you can make that you're cheating essentially to capture that image so easily. And do we call photography a type of art form? Yes, of course we do, because it takes an artistic eye to find the right angle, the right kind of lighting, figure out the best quality settings to get the best capturing photograph of that scene as possible. Of course, photography is an art, just like AI-generated art is an art. Because guess what? There are similar types of skills that you need to get the best quality results. You need to understand how to work with the tool, just like you need to understand the best settings. You need to understand the best settings for the AI programs, you need to understand how to prompt, and then you need the artistic eye, just like you need an artistic eye with a camera, okay, to see what the best lighting angle is, to see the elements of the AI-generated art. That's not really and all those things, okay? There's so many equivalencies you can actually make with AI-generated art and photography, and it's so easy to try and this AI-generated art is cheating.
I wonder if you could like play this on like half speed and it would actually sound normal.
It's fake and it's false and it requires no artistic input and everything like that.
Oh, kind of does work.
Okay, people who say that are very ignorant on the topic and are being very hypocritical, because I think people would say photography is an art form and say other equivalent things is an art form.
The good old AI is just like a camera argument. I knew this one was coming somewhere. This one's
I mean, even this argument was made in the chat. Let's see. Check out this AI art I made. You mean a machine made? Click. Hehehe.
another favorite among AI artists.
It's Stone Toss, by the way. I'm surprised they're showing, like, Stone Toss is very funny. I'm surprised he shows up in this video, though.
If AI artists were as good at creating art as they are at creating logical fallacies, I wouldn't be here talking about it.
But this guy shoots on film only. Film is inferior to digital, I'll say it.
That changing settings with their AI program is the same thing as a photographer changing settings on their camera to get the best shot. The problem with this argument, of course, is technical ability. You can tell when someone is a professional photographer versus someone who isn't.
This is not necessarily true. This person that took this photo.
The good old.
The problem with the camera argument is there is many different types of photography. And you have to consider all the different types.
AI is just like a camera argument. I knew this one was coming somewhere. This one's another favorite among AI artists.
Hold
If
on,
AI artists were as good at creating
more.
art as they are at creating logical fallacies, I wouldn't be here talking about it. They make the claim that changing settings with their AI program is the same thing as a photographer changing settings on their camera to get the best shot. The problem with this argument, of course, is technical ability. You can tell.
So like this photo, like Helena P photography. This photo, we can't tell this person is a professional photographer just from this thing. And there's a big problem with landscape art, is that typically landscape art, yes, you can craft a photo to make some art in landscape photography, but you can also just go for a hike one day and you be in the right moment at the right time and you capture something and it'd be imperceivable to you know, someone that's like a trained professional. The thing with photography is that the trick is to make the photo, not take the photo. And a lot of that is about setting the scene, composing the items inside the frame. And the photo is kind of just, again, it's kind of almost like a byproduct. The actual art of it is going into the creation of the photo in the first place. The landscape photography is an interesting argument. I think that's better. I think the landscape one is much, that's a much better argument comparing it to AI. But landscape photography is just one type of photography. And it's kind of, I don't want to say disingenuous, but it's, there are so many different types of photography. And I think that you have to evaluate them all differently. And there are better types and there are worse types. And photographers will tell you this.
When someone is a professional photographer versus someone who isn't. This isn't a rhetorical question. How do you tell the difference between a professional AI artist's work versus someone who's just messing around for a few minutes? Photographers don't just capture the first thing in front of them. They make a considerable
They absolutely do this sometimes.
Amount of decisions about every single part of the image. These decisions are all informed by the photographer's unique perspective and technical abilities. The excuse that AI artists do the same.
So like when they say the rules of photography, like these are like the very simple things. If you just actually, if you unironically, if you just look at this page, you can have a lot better photos than 95% of photographers. I will definitely say that. Got the rule of thirds, leading lines, depth of field, framing, balance, viewpoint, symmetry. All of these things can make your photos leagues better than a lot of people that get paid for professional photography. There's a really funny wedding photographer out there that's very controversial, and his photos are so garbage, but they're so distinct that he charges thousands and thousands of dollars for them. I wonder if I can find it. It's so esoteric. I doubt I'll find it. Let me see. If I just type in really cringe wedding photos, I wonder if I can find them. But there's this one guy, and he makes photographers so fucking mad, and it's so funny because he basically just anyway. Sorry, this is getting too esoteric. I'll have to find it some other time.
decisions are all informed by the photographer's unique perspective and technical abilities. The excuse that AI artists do the same thing by prompting the right way doesn't really make a lot of sense when you consider the fact that the option to learn how to make these things the traditional way is right there. The only thing stopping you from going down that path is your own willpower. Using AI to make your art for you is peak laziness. You don't feel like learning any.
AI can replicate landscapes perfectly. This is not true. The thing is, it's very easy to look at a landscape and just assume that it's real. But, and I'm not saying that there won't be a time when AI can't replicate landscapes. But if you actually get people that actually look at a lot of landscape photography, or more often than not play GeoGuessr, GeoGuessrs are really good at determining what is a real photo and what is an AI photo. And they actually have these challenges where they'll do this because there are just certain things about trees and roads and signs and power lines that to the average observer, they look perfectly fine because you just glance over it. But if you're someone that actually analyzes photos, like in these GeoGuessr cases, they're able to tell with basically 100% certainty when a photo is generated by AI and when it is when it's a real place.
The rules of art. You are only interested in taking a shortcut made from those who already have. The difference between photographers and AI artists is that photography is original work. The photographer is learning how to make good art. The decisions
sometimes. A lot of photography is derivative though. Like an example of this would be taking a photo of a graffiti or taking a photo of someone else's artwork. Does that mean that the photographer has created something? I mean, it's different, but is it unique? Is it like a unique piece of work? No.
They may come from the photographer's own skills. Anything AI generates will be limited to other photographers or artists' skills. When you prompt a model trained from actual artists, you are no longer the one making the technical decisions about an image. They are. The artist that made this cartoon, why didn't they use AI to make it? It would have saved him a lot.
No, it wasn't this. This is very funny though. I will show it. This is not who I was talking about, but this is very, very funny. This is very, very funny. That is very unique. Now, the guy that I'm thinking of, he has these super high contrast photos, and he always has this big fucking signature on every wedding photo he puts out, which I think is a rude thing to do, honestly. But that is very funny.
Of time. Is it because then there would be absolutely nothing differentiating his post from the avalanche of AI generated cartoons other people post? Do you see my point now?
The pushback, okay, this kind of fear mongering is less founded on the true unethical, things and of the AI art, because when you look into it, it's not nowhere near as unethical and it's not stealing and all that stuff, okay? It's not there. And so the truth of they might honestly believe it, but I get the impression that they're not looking to find the counter arguments to prove themselves wrong because they're more threatened. They feel threatened by this, and as a result, their perspective gets skewed to only look for things to validate that feeling of being threatened. Therefore, let's fight it, let's oppose it, let's push back against it. They're not as inclined to see, hear, and then also acknowledge the counter arguments that contradict the things that they've been saying about it being inherently unethical and stealing and stuff like that.
Well, I'm here and I disagree with just about every single thing he said in this 1.5 hour long video. He didn't cover some of the arguments I wanted to get to. That's apparently what his Twitter is for.
I can't wait till this stuff gets so popular and good that there's going to be programs that let you add in keyframes for pictures like this, and it creates the in-between shots, making animation readily available for the average person.
Making animation readily available for the average person. Hey, buddy, it already is. Nobody was gatekeeping art. Programs and tutorials to use them are free. Tell me exactly what part of this wasn't democratized already. You're acting.
This is actually a good argument.
Like artists are gatekeeping how they make their art. This could not be further from the truth. There are thousands of tutorials that show you how to make good-looking art.
It's not gate-kept, it's just time-gated.
That's how I learned Blender. You have all the tools you need to learn this right in front of you, but you aren't interested in doing any of that, are you? So I do have to ask, what part of this is democratized now that wasn't already before? The only thing you're democratizing is...
Well, it's the economy of time, essentially. A lot of people don't have the time because they're either not interested or they've got a lot of like very busy jobs or just like shit to do.
Other people's skills, which you are now calling your own. One of the most baffling takes I see.
One thing that I do find annoying is like these people that like, they're talking about developments that are going to be like 10, 20, 50, or even 100 years away. And they're just talking about like it's going to be here tomorrow. Like there are these people that'll tell you on Twitter that like next year, Grok will be generating these like full movies that you want to watch in the theater, and that you'll be able to just type in like, oh, make me a Disney movie, but cut out all of the woke shit, and then make it generate a new story for Avengers 5 or something. And then they think that they'll be able to go there to the movies and watch this in real time, like tomorrow or some shit. It's so annoying. Elon Musk is really bad about this actually as well. He's trying to convince people that like next year, Grok will be generating you full video games or some shit, when he barely even has his own cars driving at the moment, where he promised that like 10 years ago.
is the people who say AI art looks better than human-made art. That just doesn't make any sense considering the fact that AI has the first train off of those artists, and anything it generates will just look like some combination of those artists' skills. AI
Hold on a
art
second, let me just check. Is this the right one? This might be it. No, this is actually a good artist. This is actually a good photographer. This is not who I was thinking of. This is a good example of a very artistic form of photography, which is, this is light painting. So what you do is you set, this is typically will be like a flash. So you do a flash that captures the couple, and then you have a long exposure. So it's like you flash, then it's one photo, but it's like maybe a 10-second exposure time, and you flash to start it off. That freezes the people in time, and then you go in the background with like light sticks and wands, and you try and draw things. I've never really done anything like this myself, but I know people that do it, and you can make some very interesting stuff. Now, could you make this? Like, this is like literally, this is a heart that's being drawn with a sparkler. Now, could you do this as even in After Effects or in Photoshop? Yes, you could, but this is one form of artistic style of photography. It looks like shit. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that art is in the, or beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of light painting, but there is a very high level of technical skill that's involved, because you have to be able to understand what the pitch, like drawing a heart is very simple, right? Like, it's very easy to draw a heart, but like people will draw like full dinosaurs and things like that. It's like really crazy what some people come up with. And a lot of it looks like shit. But it is one interesting aspect of photography. This is a pretty cool one too. Actually, I really like this. I actually very much like this. This one. This is really cool. Just a simple silhouette with some bokeh balls. But that's very cute. This tells a very lovely story. I like this one. This is not who I was thinking of. But I don't like it how they have the. I don't like it how people like sign their photographer name on their wedding photos, on other people's wedding photos. You know. But maybe they gave the couples without the things. But a lot of these are very good.
will never be better than human-made art because it's designed to make things that look like human-made art. They don't even have any solid examples. Everything they showed just looks like some derivative ripped-off version of some artist they didn't even know existed.
Insane ratio. Is that insane? I don't know.
Does he even know that there are people out there who paint these things perfectly fine without AI? His model trained off their work to generate stuff that looks like it, and then he turns around and uses that as an insult to those very artists. Him making the claim that AI art is better than human-made art when the models are trained off of and designed to make things that look like human-made art is just plain wrong. You cannot compare the...
Yeah, I don't like it when photographers do this because they think it adds like a filmic look. I don't like this. I like image fidelity over the film-like grain and noise. No, I don't like that. Ironically, AI is really good for removing noise from photos. That's one of the really cool things you can do with AI at the moment is if you have these old photos that are really noisy, or if your wedding photographer was really annoying, you can remove it now in post very accurately. There's still some work to be done though.
Level of detail your AI generated piece has to one of an artist that actually had to think about those details. You didn't really have to think about much to make this. If the AI one is so much better, then why does nobody care about it? Another one of the arguments I see going around in pro AI spaces.
I mean, people do care about, like, enough people care about it. There's almost 5,000 comments. Now, if people hate it, that's still caring about it. Now, this is the thing that people don't understand. That Shad's art isn't actually the AI art. It's making people so angry that they comment on his videos and his posts so he gets more attention and makes more money. That's the real art. You just didn't notice it.
If the AI one is so much better, then why does nobody care about it? Another one of the arguments I see going around in pro AI spaces is calling people who criticize AI art Luddites. If you don't already know, the Luddite movement started when skilled workers who made fabrics were being replaced by fabric-making machines that could do the same work but for much cheaper. The workers
fabric makers
eventually revolted and destroyed the fabric machines. As we already know though, having the fabrics be made by machines allows it to be much cheaper and gives more people access to it. Society as a whole benefits from a few people losing their jobs to automation. The argument that's being made here is that artists are holding back society by having an issue with AI. That the future of art should be made by AI, and if anyone has a problem with that, they're just trying to hold back society's progress in order to save their own redundant jobs.
Well, the real difference is that the artists that are complaining on Twitter aren't complaining to leave their houses, no matter what happens. So there's no danger of them vandalizing the servers because they're not even going to leave their own home. They get everything delivered. It's DoorDash and air conditioning all the way.
I hope you can already see why this argument is not only wrong, but also pretty offensive. The primary difference between the Luddite movement and the anti-AI art push is the fact that AI companies are still using the skills that artists spent time and effort to develop. Those artists now just don't need to be compensated for it anymore. This is a tool that allows companies to replace artists with a stolen...
I mean, I don't buy this as an argument because, like, the knitting machines and the fabric generating machines were still using the tools that were developed by the knitters and things. It's exactly the same, essentially. There's a couple differences, but it's essentially the same.
Derivative version of their own work that someone didn't even need to spend any time on. You're stealing the expertise and personal sacrifice of artists and then turning around and then immediately calling those very artists irrelevant and self-centered for having a problem with this blatant theft. You're using their own skills to steal opportunities away from them. We just want to make sure we're not.
I mean, and again, this kind of, the fabric argument is really bad as well, because there's still fashion designers that make things by hand, using sewing machines, like personally in people's homes for cosplay, things like that. And all of the big fabric houses and companies steal their designs from people that are still making things to this very day, or imitating them, or selling the designs, you know, whatever. But fashion still exists, right? I think it shouldn't, but it does.
Not stolen from, and that's it. If companies like Midjourney were only using public domain images to train off of, we'd have absolutely no problem with that. They'd be allowed to do that. But there's a reason they don't. It's because it makes better art when it's trained off of everyone else's. People who use AI art freely admit that human beings make better art when that artist is properly trained and has the talents required. They say it's just too expensive to justify hiring them, and so that's why they'll use AI instead. A model that's just trained off of their work anyways. I want you to think about the eventual end result that this type of incentive structure will produce.
Is he going to say there'll be no artists left and then everything's going to return to slop? Let's see if he says that.
Entire companies, even industries like advertising, choose to use AI in order to save a buck. In the short term, it's great for the companies. They get advertisements that look like real artists made them for a fraction of the price. Everyone else, because it makes financial sense, starts doing the same thing. Free art for everyone. Companies start posting AI advertisements. Content farms pop up posting AI videos every few minutes. You start seeing AI images on products in stores. Artists go out of a job because every industry of significance has pivoted to AI to save money. Because of this, no new art is made or posted by professionals. They all have to spend their time at a job that can support them that would have otherwise gone into getting better at art. No new training data enters the models that companies are using to generate from. Artists stop making art, which causes AI models to stop receiving new data. Any models that get made in the future will be trained off the same set of art from a time where artists could support themselves with their own work. Because AI images can be...
Yeah, so then what'll happen is that all of the AI stuff will have a very similar look. It'll all look very, very dated, very retro. And then some person will come along, innovate, and have a completely new style. And it'll be wild and it'll be crazy and people will love it. And that person's going to make a bunch of fucking money. And then the AI models will come and start stealing that model. And the same thing will happen. This will always happen. It's just the AI will always be following the artist.
Generated instantly. Any trends that develop in art get immediately exploited with tens of thousands of images and videos a day. You start seeing AI generated videos on YouTube that for some reason have millions of views. They all look like they could have been uploaded by the same person.
Jesus Christ appears on Got Talent America. The world stopped in shock at his powerful message.
So basically what YouTube looks like right now.
This one's 30 minutes.
This isn't a recipe that benefits society. It does not benefit the people with the actual skills. It's one where talentless hacks try to steal money and opportunities that would have otherwise rightfully gone to those artists to continue practicing their actual skills.
So just like the world today.
Instead of people seeing actual talent, they see someone who prompted a derivative version of something from an actual artist's work. The problem we have with AI art is that the reward for the work does not go to the people that deserve it. It is not distributed evenly with the amount of work each person puts into each image. All of the money is given to some talentless goober who thinks of himself as the artist. Why would anyone spend the time and effort to learn real art techniques when you can just steal from those that have and pretend that's somehow the same thing as inspiration? You're a middleman who's stealing the art from the community around you and are now pretending to be one of us. Pretending to be someone that puts thought into every detail like we do. Pretending that you know how to do this.
Is there any AI channels that are doing really, really, really well? Out of curiosity. Like, can anyone name one? Like, the only thing that I can kind of really think about when people mention like AI slop that's doing like really like fantastic numbers, better than real people, is like those videos that used to be marketed towards children, like the Hulk jumping on a bed sort of things, like the Elsa Gate videos. That's the only time, and the only thing that only really seems to appeal to is children, people that children that love like really repetitive like nonsense. Essentially, I don't really know of any YouTuber that's like being replaced by AI generated content. I mean, people use AI voices all the time. Sure, Shorts is a big one, but those channels don't really have a personality. They don't have like a community. People just watch the videos, move on, and then go back to their regular YouTuber like Mr. Beast or some shit. Trying to see anyone know any fake channel trailers? I think those are being banned on YouTube actually. I don't know, because like the thing is, YouTube is such a curated experience, that like I don't see that sort of stuff because I'm not interested in watching it. So maybe it does exist. I just don't know about it, but I don't think so. I think the only person that really was trying to do it was what the fuck was his name? Queeblecop. He tried to replace his entire channel with like him being, but AI him, and he was like spitting out like AI Minecraft videos or some shit. But I think everyone hated it.
that this is your art. Thankfully, most people can see through this.
5 minute
AI-generated videos of the
crafts. 5 minute crafts isn't AI, is it? I mean, I don't know. Let's have a look. 5 minute craft. And if it's just the voice, that doesn't count. Okay, that's just replacing one aspect with let me see. 5 minute crafts. Beautiful resonant. These are real people. This is not real. This is not AI. It's nonsense, but it's not AI.
The entertainment equivalent of jingling keys in front of a baby. They will always be associated with the lowest quality content, on the same level as the farms that pump out baby sensory music videos. The only people that will benefit from an endless wave of lower quality, plagiarized, bot-created content will be soulless businessmen and side hustlers who see your intellectual property rights as nothing more than a roadblock in the way between them and a bunch of free money. They regularly spit
free money. I like it.
In the face of the people their art machine is made from. There are thousands of videos showing you how you can make $1 bajillion by posting AI-generated slop regularly. These creators don't give a single damn about what they're posting. The only thing they care about is that it generates revenue for them.
But the AI slop doesn't actually make that much money. Like, you have to pump out so much AI slop, like thousands of videos, and the majority of AI slop channels don't actually do very well. It's only that there's just so many people generating them that a couple rise to the top as. But when I say the top, I don't even mean the top. I just mean to the forefront, like the front page or something. It seems like all the videos, the examples are being shown is just people that are selling shovels, not actually mining for gold, which is the problem.
Turds that have been polished by our own work without our consent. They aren't in it for the art. They're in it because it's a get-rich-quick scheme, and the viewer is the sucker being hosed for wasting their time with it and giving the AI channel revenue.
And people that waste their time watching these videos, 2,500 per week, using Leonardo AI. Like, those people are idiots and deserve to lose their money anyway.
Expecting people to just sit down after their long day of work and spend their very limited free time watching an infinitely generated list of AI-generated content built from our stolen work does not sound like a future we should want. That sounds like one we should actively fight against.
First and foremost, I believe...
You fight against it by watching real creators that you enjoy and following their feeds and, signing up to the things that you like. It's pretty simple.
AI art is not a craft, no matter how anyone might attempt to think about it or justify it. You can no more call yourself an artist if the work you're producing is built on the foundation of artificial intelligence than you could call yourself an artist of the skill level of someone whose work you are tracing. It is
it's the good Shadiversity, and he's got a paintbrush for a microphone.
Simply not your work or skill being used.
And this is kind of my worry with some
check out the
AI
Bigfoot videos by World According to AI. Okay, I'll check that out.
With writing and with art that's happening. Being an art director does not give you ownership over the piece. And in this case, no matter how good your prompt, no matter how much you refine, you aren't making the art. You are acting as an art director, perhaps. You are commissioning a piece of art, but the machine is making the art. And so that is why I have a bone to pick with that definition. I don't think you're an artist. I think you might be an art director.
All right, so hold on a second. So this is the example, the World According to AI. I asked for channels that were like absolutely killing it. This is not an example of one of those channels. Like, this is a very interesting channel, don't get me wrong. But 39,000 subscribers. I mean, I was talking about like tens of millions of subscribers is what I'm talking about, a big channel. This is a small channel on YouTube. Let's have a look at this video content anyway.
Hey everyone, Bigfoot here. I've put together some of my favorite recent vlog moments for you all to check out. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, this is kind of interesting though. But I mean, there's a lot of creativity that I would imagine went into this. Like, they probably scripted this out, then they got the AI to do everything for it. Now, is this art? Oh, not necessarily, but it certainly looks like it's going to be entertaining.
These foraged mushrooms on fresh sourdough are amazing, and they're so good for you.
But I would never watch this again. This is like a one-time thing that I'd spend 10 seconds doing. I love how Bigfoot is portrayed not as a monster, but more of a chill guy in the woods. There you go. These are just stoners will probably watch this when they're bored. But like, that's not an example of a channel that's being displaced by AI.
To a machine. If you take the magic skill box away from an AI artist, they're dead in the water. It's as simple as that. Shad could not do this without AI. He doesn't have the technical knowledge nor skill, but he wants you to know that it's not the AI doing the work, despite the fact that if Stable Diffusion disappeared tomorrow, he wouldn't be able to create at this caliber anymore. And he's
yeah, well, what if I took away your pencils? How are you going to make art then?
Also learned nothing about art outside the workings of the AI. No gained fundamentals, nothing. And again, you may ask, why do you care? Why does it matter? Let him have fun. Well, it matters because me and virtually every artist I know was stolen from to make this tech work. It's theft on an unprecedented...
Let's see, there's a lot of police body cam channels like Midwest Safety, which I think use AI voices. I'm not concerned about AI voices, honestly. There are a lot of smaller ones that definitely use AI voices and probably AI scripts. 100K views of it. 100K views of it isn't actually that much either. Like the way that YouTube has changed these days, like a small video is like 100,000 views. A medium video is 1 million views. A big video is like 10 million views.
Unprecedented scale and forces artists to quite literally compete with their own work, which the US Copyright Office and copyright law has thoughts on. Jobs are drying up. I'm seeing it in real time. There's AI artwork on art department walls, in pitch decks. I don't worry about a prompt engineer taking my job. They don't have the fundamentals or ability to fit into a pipeline. I worry about one artist doing the job of 10 and it being derivative crap on top of it. You may not support the writers in the WGA. You may not support actors in SAG-AFTRA. You may not support artists, but if we don't call this out for what it is, we're going to lose the very humanity in art. Originality is already hard to come by, and people want to offload all creativity to a few different companies instead of supporting real artists. That's not a world I want to live in.
It's the American way. You work hard, you play fair, you stay the course, and you'll make it. I truly believe that until my son asked ChatGPT to write a plot that read like a David Baldacci novel. In about 5 seconds, 3 pages came out that had elements of pretty much every book I'd ever written, including plot lines, twists, character names, narrative, the works. That's when I found out that the AI community had taken most of my novels without permission and fed them into the machine learning system. I truly felt like someone had backed up a truck to my imagination and stolen everything I'd ever created.
When I see people watch a bad movie, usually one of the first things they say out of the theater is, it felt like the script was written by AI. We view art, we experience art, we go out of our way to engage with art because we want something new. We don't want something recycled. We're going to keep doing that.
When I see an AI thumbnail on YouTube, my eyes glaze over and I go, oh, this person doesn't care about what they're making. If I just AI.
The thing is, if AI is regarded as being bad, and if AI movies and thumbnails and things are just obvious and people are going to associate with them bad quality content, then the problem doesn't exist because people know that it's bad and people are going to avoid it. So it's kind of weird to include these sort of arguments where it's like people know that AI is bad, because if they know that it's bad, there's no problem whatsoever.
I generated my thumbnails. That is a huge message from me to you that I don't care about the content that I'm making, that I don't care about the videos that you're watching, that I'm just trying to create slop.
Like, you are specifically and intentionally not learning anything, right? You are prompting, rearranging questions until you get an output you desire, but you have no idea how that was done. You are spending all of this time.
The funniest thing about this is kind of a, I guess, tangential story, but there was ChatGPT was a glazing. They had like a glazing algorithm that would tell you how great you were and all sorts of shit. And they just updated ChatGPT, and now it gives you more regular, neutral answers. And when you're asking for like self-validation from it, like it's like, tell me I'm a good boy, ChatGPT. And now it says, well, maybe you're not a good boy. And people are freaking out. They're freaking out because they were using it as a self-soothing device, which is very funny.
Not training for the field you've chosen. You are not learning anything. You are not improving your skills.
All right, hold on a second. Amazing argument. People buy mass shit produced from China and they know that they're bad. Yeah, people sometimes choose cheaper products. People go to McDonald's. People buy from Temu. But then people also recognize quality and go to high-priced restaurants, or they buy artisan quality goods. I don't see what you don't understand about this.
You're basically doing what anyone could do with an LLM, which seems bad for like your career prospects and how you plan to go through the world. Like, you are specifically and intentionally refusing to learn anything, which just seems like a problem.
So I think an overlooked component of AI discourse is how little respect AI enthusiasts have for people who create things and do stuff. It's most obvious in the art space, I think. Like, they spent the 2000s.
I think it's the most obnoxious in the art space. I think the artists are just the noisiest, loudest whiners.
Just, you deserve to live in poverty because you wanted to make art. Why did you get that underwater basket weaving degree? You should have went into tech. Like, how dare you think that you deserve to be
True. I mean, I agree with her so far.
paid for your drawings? Boo, right? But now suddenly there's a tool that can make art, and now they want to get involved. Now they want to make art, like art in quotation marks, because it's garbage and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see your stupid AI bullshit. But suddenly there's a thing that they can use to make art without any effort, without any time having to like study the classics, to learn, to hone their skills, and now they want to do it. It's just, there's this
Hot take, but the classics are all bad anyway.
underlying hostility that AI enthusiasts have for people who, you know, practice and hone their skills and get training to do things. Experts, like medical doctors or carpenters, or those people who can sit in a closet with those little things and make music. Those people have spent a lot of time doing a thing until they became great at it. Like, they have trained, they have worked hard, they have practiced to refine their skills so that they can do tasks in an amazing way that the average person cannot. They get respect for that, right? Because they worked hard. And there is a certain group of people.
Most artists don't get respect at all.
who are always pissed about that. Like, what do you mean I can't be a famous theoretical physicist unless I go and learn math? That's not fair. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but like now those people can use a chat box and they think it gives them the same skills, and now they are demanding the same respect.
There's a very interesting thing that's also happening with AI. There's like AI-induced psychosis. And it's not the AI that's doing it. These people always had psychosis throughout history. And it used to be that they would be like into gang stalking, whatever, and they'd have other psychopaths, like, well, not psychopaths, but other psychos, like validating their assumptions that the government's tracking them because of red car drove past or something. But now these people are moving to the internet and they're using chat AI to confirm that the government is watching them and stuff. And it's very interesting.
You know what I mean? Suddenly, in their imaginations, but not in reality, they have all the same skills that all the people who worked so hard to train so hard to do the things, and all they need to do is just have the right prompts. The skills are at the tip of their fingertips. Oh my goodness. And then, you know, after they've done this and they've presented it to people, people will just be like, well, no, that's not art. I don't want to look at that. No, that's not a physics paper just because, like, technically it looks like a physics paper. In classic crackpot fashion, they are angry. They are angry that you are not respecting them in the way they think they deserve to be respected, because even though they did not attain
This is what having your evocation and cooldown will do for you, yes.
the skills through the traditional methods, suddenly they have them because they're really good at prompting.
I've been scammed by AI art. I, for $99, purchased something that was advertised to me, purported to be tutorial books by skilled artists that turned out to be AI-generated crap that I could learn nothing from, and was trained on really good artists that I should have been able to give my money to, but they weren't what was advertised to me, and I fell for it. And I'm sick to death of seeing lazy AI...
Yeah, you get scammed sometimes. That does happen.
I generated crap in all of my content feed, and I hate seeing the gross way AI is being monetized, proliferated, trained, and celebrated by some as an outright replacement for developing a craft. And I hate the way that this challenges people's rights to own and control their own creative output.
Judge,
has he got like a really fancy like time-lapse gimbal mounted on his is that like a Blackmagic 6K or something? That's a really nice setup he's got there.
Challenges people's rights to
think it
own
is, I'm not
and
sure.
control their own creative output.
Judge Alsop said, if the authors show that there is market harm based on an output of this model, you could bring another case. There is no copyright claim in the production of non-infringing works.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I only have a minute left. It looks to me like you're shifting the burden to the author of the creative work when there's an assertion of fair use here. So Meta or others can virtually steal this creative product of Mr. Baldacci and others, and then he has the responsibility of proving that there's been an economic loss to him as a result of it?
Not at all, Senator.
Ultimately, the thievery, if you want to use that word, of the creative work is for the economic benefit of those who are creating the AI, is it not?
Not necessarily. I think if
I'm talking to you about why do we have AI? Why are we interested in AI? Clearly, it's a commercial purpose, is it not?
Oh, entirely. For the AI companies, yes.
For the companies, so that they are ultimately the winners in this approach that you're taking, where you assume we're in the world of new innovation here, and there is a use of someone else's creative work. The burden's on them to prove that they've lost money because of that piracy. But the ultimate winner in this is going to be the AI, because if they escape this responsibility, they can use Mr.
Well, no, you can just build an AI that goes looking for the art that's got stolen, clearly.
Baldacci's product and make money off of it.
Yes, if the training is considered a fair use, the direct benefit would be to the AI companies. I grant that.
You just get like an AI lawyer to go hunt down and serve like cease and desist all the AI companies. Just get AI all the way down.
Be a strange connection to draw, but I noticed the way AI artists make art is the same way some penguins make their nests. Penguins need to make their nest out of...
Oh, is he going to talk about how some penguins steal rocks from other penguins? This is so adorable. Like, there's a David Attenborough documentary where like these penguins, they spend all their time making these like these rock nests, right? And then David Attenborough is like narrating, and he's like, but some penguins turn to a life of crime. And then you have this really funny scene where every time this penguin turns around, it's stealing rocks from the other nest. It's so good. That's such a good one. I think it's like Frozen Planet or something. Dave says, for fuck's sake, you don't deserve money because you worked hard. That's backwards. Satisfying the demand, need is how you make money. Exactly.
Small stones. They need to be just the right size, shape, and material. Some of the penguins in the herd spend a significant amount of energy finding and gathering these stones for their nest. Other penguins, on the other hand, don't feel like spending the energy to find their own stones. These penguins, seeing as their neighbor has an abundance of stones, steal a few for their own nest. Eventually, after stealing a small amount of stones from everyone else's pile, they have their own nest with a fraction of the effort required.
Yeah, that's why this is called working smarter, not harder.
There's a big incentive to not spend the energy to find your own stones. But when everyone decides they don't want to spend the energy to find their stones, the entire herd will find itself with no stones and no nests.
And yet somehow the penguins still get their nests by the end of the year, okay?
Extremely reliant on those who spend the effort to actually find the right stone, but they couldn't care less about that.
It's about ethic in penguin nest building.
AI art is an invasive species, leeching off the resources that would have otherwise gone to the people that deserve it.
Oh, I hate these vines. These vines are everywhere in Japan. They cover every fucking thing. I hate these parasitic vines.
Works by sucking up all the oxygen in the room and outcompeting everything else by sheer volume alone. Nothing truly new or different is allowed in a landscape like this. Everything looks...
But then how do the penguins survive? If all the penguins are... Here's the thing is, like, the penguins that steal is a very minor group, because the penguins that build their own nests probably do a lot better. We'll have to see. I don't know. The penguins are still alive, so I think they figured it out. They reached an equilibrium, which I assume is what's going to happen with artists and AI people.
The same. Everything is made in the same way. The landscape is filled only by the now unrecognizable mounds of invasive mold attempting to resemble the originality that used to be there, that used to be something worth celebrating, that used to have a chance to thrive. AI art is theft.
If we have
I would just say that AI art is not AI. Oh, sorry. There. Well, I mean, it's not AI. It's not artificially intelligent. It's very good at looking like it is, but it's not. It's simulated, as I've said. But I would just say that it's not art at all.
Priority.
Now, there will be people that'll be fooled by various works of AI-generated images. But that's the way it'll always be.
In AI development, and if we are in a competition or arms race with China, winning the AI race by United States companies benefits the United States, in my view.
And Mr. Baldacci should be.
This guy's... I want to learn less about the AI race and more about the AI racists, because that's also very funny, is that every time they let the AIs just do their own thing, they turn racist very quickly.
Be prepared to pay the price for that, right?
I just want to follow up on this line of questioning, Professor Lee. When you say that it would be to the benefit of the United States, isn't Mr. Baldacci a citizen of the United States?
Entirely. I'm not saying that Mr. Baldacci does not benefit from the copyright. Yes.
So I'm just struggling to understand, when you say that it will benefit, that the mass theft of their works will benefit the United States ultimately, you're saying that the mass theft and potential impoverishment of American citizens ultimately redounds to the good of America?
Not at all, Senator.
I think you're being a little too imprecise, right? What you mean to say is it may benefit American corporations.
It's for the
It may
greater
impoverish
good.
American citizens,
The greater
but it will benefit
good.
American corporations. I think what you're really saying is that the enrichment of certain multinational corporations that are incidentally based in the United States, taking the works and personal property of American citizens, is a good thing. That's a little bit less clear to me. It just sounds strange to me to say that the United States as a nation is going to benefit from the mass violations of its citizens' rights. Your argument seems to be it's fine to violate those rights in mass if it redounds to the benefit of the nation. I think what you're really saying is to the benefit of certain people in the nation and their immediate interests.
What did he mean by certain people, chat? Which certain people is he talking about in particular?
I just want to point out that there's a lot of hand waving going on here. Every time we get down to the nub of the question, can these giant corporations take the copyrighted work of individual citizens? We get distracted with, well, it's for the good of the country. Maybe it's not so bad. We have an arms race on. There's an AI czar. I actually think I don't think it's that complicated. I think it's pretty simple. I think in America we have rights. Those rights are what protect us. These rights are being violated. And if we're going to succeed as a nation and uphold our principles as a nation, we better darn well enforce the individual rights on which the nation's founded. I mean, it's just a thought.
Kind of weird to end it on that topic. Oh my goodness. Grubby can't even use one unit. I got to check that video out as soon as the stream ends. All right, chat.
Matters. No more.
Let's see if I can find a good frame. A good frame with some AI slop on it. Like this. There we go. No, not that one. Not that one. There we go. Let's see what the chat said. The chat said that 31% said that AI art is theft. 41% said no. 12% said look stream. And 15% liked the stream. Ultimately, I'm not too concerned about this because I think that there will always be a place for custom human interactions, and I think that's the product that people like actually more so not necessarily all the time, but in many cases. Like when I go to a restaurant, I like to see the chef cooking, you know. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm getting value. And that's not what I get when I go to the robot shop or the McDonald's that's being replaced by robots. So I'm not concerned that AI is going to steal all the jobs and all the art. I don't have much of a problem. And it seems like the arguments are kind of self-defeating, because if everyone knows it's all slop and everyone knows that it's all bad, then it seems like it'll self-regulate itself. The market finds a way. So I'm not too worried about this. And ultimately, I don't think that AI art is art at all. Anyway, I would download a car. I would absolutely download a car if I could. Let me see. Most people would download a car. Yes, they would. They would indeed. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Well, there are lots of things that I don't like that are art. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Art isn't. Not theft. Chat is always right. Not theft, apparently. It's mayhem. Shut it down. Yes, the billionaires was the answer, I guess. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this is going to go. But I don't buy the argument that artists will ever be out of the job, because people do like to have things that are handmade, and people do like quality things. And I think there's a certain level of quality that you'll always get from a human, because a human has the ability to actually recognize and make the changes that you can ask for. Not all the time, but a lot of the times. Even in Shad's own examples where he's editing things to like remove the stockings, which is a criminal act behavior, he shouldn't have done that, so you could see the legs. He wasn't getting the exact result he was getting. He was just getting something that was pretty close and pretty happy. And just like when you go to McDonald's, you're not really that happy with the burger, but it's good enough. It's close enough. And a lot of people will be satisfied by that. And a lot of people will go that for a cheap, quick alternative. But real skill and real quality, I think, will rise to the top. So don't think the artists need to be worried about anything. And yeah, that's kind of my take with the AI art. Although a lot of the stuff that Shad said is pretty cringe as well. And he's always whining and creating controversy for himself. But it's literally called Art Official. Oh, fuck off. Would you bang a granny for a PS5? No, I'm pretty sure I could get a PS5 if I wanted to. Oh, my camera ran out of battery power. Perfect timing. Not that many streams recently. I'll try and be more on time. So let me just check. I think I got everybody. We'll be back sometime in the future, probably tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to go to bed. And peace. Thanks for joining me tonight, chat. Have a good one.